Welcome back to the Cretaceous period, everybody. We are here with the Stream Punks for our next chapter in Legacy of Silvercreek. It's good to see everyone tonight. Going to kick things off with some announcements real quick. First of all, just wanted to give everyone a heads up that typically the Stream Punks have a Tuesday night game, the last game of every Tuesday nights on last Tuesday of the month. We have a game on Tuesday nights. I found it. And we're going to be updating you guys coming soon about what that's going to be like this month because it's Halloween on that Tuesday. So we'll keep you all posted about what we've got planned for that. Stay tuned. We're going to announce it first on Discord and our Coffee and Patreon accounts. And then after that, we'll shout about it here. My only personal announcement that I have is that I was very lucky to be able to go down to the Cherry Tree Mad Scientist Studio where they build all the computers. Cherry Tree is, of course, I'm an affiliate, and I got to go down there and see them build my current PC, which they basically, the short story of version is I had a Borg Cube PC. They initiated a prototype of a new one that looked like the warp core of a starship. So I decided to ask them, hey, not to be the mouse that asks for a glass of milk after you give them a cookie, but do you think it'd be possible to rehouse my PC in that even more badass thing you've got set up? And they done did it for me, and I went down there and filmed the entire thing. So that's going to be launching on my personal YouTube channel tomorrow around 3 p.m. Pacific time. So if you didn't get a chance to see it during my stream this morning, look for it there. And don't forget, 16-bit Eric 6 gets you 6% off on everything on Cherry Tree. Okay, that's my big pitch. I'm getting better at promoting myself after 5.5 years. All right. So if anybody else has anything they'd like to announce tonight. No. Okay, great. Let's go ahead and start. No, I'm just kidding. Sorry. Anybody else have anything they got going on stuff? Yes, Caitlin.
Okay, I'm a speed run because it's too many things. Tomorrow morning at like between 11:30ish a.m. Central Time, Drac and I are gonna be streaming on my channel, and I'm gonna be carving pumpkins. It's gonna be very fun, and you should come do that. Come watch that with us. It's gonna be very silly, probably in like an hour and a half, but that'll be right away in the morning. And then at 2 p.m. Central, okay, noon Pacific time, our charity stream for Maui, the Pact, that we did, Sam and me and Rick and B and Omar last weekend, is going to do a little YouTube premiere on our Playhouse 5 YouTube channel. So you can check that out. If I'm not driving, I will try to hop in chat and hang out, but otherwise it'll be there. I know folks had asked when that was going to be available because I don't know how my Twitch channel works. I know it's highlighted, but it's probably better for people on YouTube. So it'll be there in a sec. And then on Friday, episode 21 of Thin Places Radio will be coming out. It's a good one. We have some new stuff, which is going to be very cool, and I can't wait for you guys to listen. And that's my announcements.
Sweet. All right. Anybody else got anything they want to announce? Anything else going on? Yes, Eliza.
I'll do my usual plug of Storyloom. My stories are Welcome to the Blood Bar and Night of the Hunter. You can read them on the app or on a web browser. It's interactive fiction. It's like a moving graphic novel that you get to make choices in. So check that out. By next week, I will have my chapters posted, but I just got back in town and I'm moving, so forgive me.
I guess.
Sorry, editor at Storyloom. I love you. I'm so sorry. And then also want to give a shout out to Verse. We just announced our 8 creators, our first 8 creators that we're going to be building games with. We have more in the pipeline, and I'm super excited to work with everyone. And you can sign up at verse.game to get on our email list, and you could be someone that gets early access to the games as we're developing them. So you could be cool, see what's happening behind the scenes. So yeah, those are my updates.
Sweet. Thank you, Lisa. Anybody else have anything they would like to update before we jump into tonight's science fiction violence?
Pardon?
No, sorry. Game tonight. Anybody? A game? Anybody? No, nothing. Oh yes, Sam. Yes, go ahead.
I do science. It only sometimes has blood. Mostly doesn't have blood. And I'm pretty sure we won't have blood in it tomorrow. Though, I suppose that depends on the events of tonight's game, Eric Campbell.
Yes.
Though, for what it's worth, I totally didn't mean to split the party, but I'm still
Eyes. All right. With that, as we start off, a quick happy birthday to one Jason Carl. Okay, now we're done.
Happy birthday.
Let's go ahead and jump into tonight's chapter of Legacy of Silvercreek. Welcome back, everyone. Let's go ahead and jump back to where we left off. The joke is running kind of thin now, but if you'll permit me one more time, a very calming place that we left off when we were last playing Legacy of Silvercreek. The party had very intelligently and very wisely decided to split at a very critical moment of danger and being hunted by both a deadly faction and possible night predators after a hurricane. In so doing, we have half of the party headed to a forbidden SATI site on the edges of a dark primal jungle, and two others headed towards a swamp, which is known hunting territory for one of the largest ancestors of crocodiles that have ever existed on the face of the earth. So, thankfully, it's a chill game tonight. You guys will be picking it up where we left off. I'm going to go ahead and remind everyone that when we last left this group, you guys, Party B was headed towards the Red Jaw Wilds. You were headed directly towards SATI Site 000E. Your hopes were to get there by early evening, knowing full well that it was going to be about a day's travel, but you guys were going to try to double time it a little bit. Things got a little tricky at the end there, though, because feeling literally the pull of destiny, Dalia bolted. Without so much of a warning, Dalia felt that pull and just bolted on the back of Bruno, staring straight towards SATI Site 000E. This, of course, spawned Zach to say all kinds of obscenities and urge everyone to move as quickly as possible. I called in a GM intrusion. Failed perception checks were made, and unbeknownst to the party, but known to the audience and above table, you were all currently being hunted by a large sauropod. Theropod. So there is a large bipedal dinosaur that has currently caught the scent of a quickly moving caravan of panicked explorers. And as of the moment, none of you all are aware of them. Of course, we have Zach back in our midst, so your odds of survival have jumped dramatically because Zach, coupled with Clover, you've got two survivalists out here who know when you are being hunted. And
I do have a very important note from my notes, which is Clover rolled a nat 20 and has advantage in the next game.
That's
So
right. That's right.
I don't want that to get
Don't let that get buried.
Written. I wrote it down in big letters and circled it. So
it's going to be a very different scenario than what happened to that poor bastard in Jurassic Park who was hunting the raptor. In this case, y'all are going to be very aware of what's going on, and you're going to be able to make up for some lost ground getting that GM intrusion pulled on you. But while this was happening, and while y'all are amidst the potential disaster on the other side of Silvercreek,
I'm already a disaster.
Close to grass trees, near the swamp where you guys were getting ready to cross the river, Tara and Ozzie have made friends of their very own, as apparently successfully have lured the butterflies away from those who were rushing towards the Red Jaw Wilds. 2 hunters on the backs of raptors attacked the group. The group, when I say the group, I mean the pair of you. 2 on 2. However, Tara had something up her sleeve and activated essentially a sonic weapon. I forget what the names of them are. They're used for crowd control devicing, but they're basically sonic weapons that are used to disperse crowds. They are terrible, terrible weapons. In this case, Tara had one on her wrist and activated one and promptly frightened the raptors away, leaving the 2 butterflies to fend and attack you guys all by them lonesomes. A curious tactic being used here, as Ozzie basically managed to start distracting one of them and kinda having a conversation with one in mid-fight using those lovely speaker abilities, basically just kind of stopping this butterfly dead in his tracks, even eliciting a bit of a smile from him, and kind of like not entirely sure if it's that murderous type of smile, like he's amused by what's happening, or if he's actually kind of also a little disarmed by this. However, the woman that is traveling in this pair, who Zach would recognize, is a little more on the murder spree side of the force and is attempting to engage Tara in the ancient art of I kill you or you kill me. And that is where we are going to pick up right now, with these 2 women showing down. One of them has a blade drawn and Tara has a bow and an arrow out. She's like knocked it and pulled it all the way back. Both of them are covered in mud and staring at each other as they're kind of pacing around. A few feet away is Ozzie, who is kind of leaning up against this tree and having this quick conversation with this guy who, Ozzie, without having to make a roll, as he's listening to you talk, he's not really paying much attention to what's happening behind him. Instead, he's just kind of completely focused on you, right where you want him, and a bit of a smile, like kind of completely absorbed in what it is you're saying. Now, if I remember correctly, the ability you are using for your particular character class is essentially lets you kind of just filibuster his actions in combat, so long as you keep talking.
And I can't do anything else.
Can't do anything else.
It ends if the creature is attacked. But other than that, they can't do anything but defend themselves, and I can't do anything but speak. It's
Right.
a 1-person lockdown.
Okay, so there's a lot happening here. We're going to go ahead, and the brilliant thing about Cypher System is when it comes to NPC versus NPC combat, it gets real easy. It's level versus level. And right now, it's Tara versus this butterfly. Unfortunately, because you cannot take your eyes off of this guy and you have to keep talking to him, you have no idea what is happening behind you, Ozzie. All you are hearing are the sounds of combat. Grunts, splatting sounds from the mud. It sounds like bodies are hitting the floor, as it were. You can hear like what definitely sounds like a life and death battle happening behind you. And it's really difficult to differentiate between the shouts, the grunts, the terrifying slashing sounds that a well-placed blade makes when it cuts cleanly through the air. Those kinds of noises you're hearing behind you. You hear the twang of a bowstring and the thunk of an arrow against heavy wood. You have no idea what's happening behind you. In your action of combat, you see he continues to lean up against the tree, and he just continues to listen to you as you just keep the stream of consciousness going. Kind of mesmerized as he listens to you. You feel the slight icy stab of anxiety in your spine as combat gets quiet, and you hear behind you at one point. Heavy breathing. And there is a tense moment where you have no idea whose footsteps you're hearing approaching you from behind. But after a beat, your heart sinks when a knife goes against your throat. And you feel a hand reach up behind your jaw and kind of hold your head up. Now, they don't get an automatic free action to lock you into place, but whoever's behind you is grabbing you by the back of your neck and trying to put a knife to your neck. You can react here It's going to be an initiative roll, and I'm going to increase the difficulty of them to scale it up by 1. So if you want to go ahead and make it, as it kind of reinstitutes combat.
Vern is specialized in initiative, FYI.
Oh, that's right.
This is
So
true.
so I believe that's going to give initiative. That's going to basically so that means it's going to, if it's specialty, that means your difficulty drops by 2 against her difficulty. Okay, so go ahead and make your roll. The target number of this is 4, but it's going to drop down to 2 by default. Go ahead and make your roll and tell me what you get.
That was an 8 on the die.
Okay.
Thank you, Vern.
The fear that triggers, it just takes you a second before you allow yourself 1 moment to realize the footsteps are too heavy to be Tara's. And the next moment, you react at the same moment someone grabs at you and you whirl around. Sure enough, it's not Tara. Tara is laying in the mud about 10 feet away on her back. She's curled up on herself and holding something. Your heart sinks the moment you see her because she's clutching her chest and she's laying in the mud. The butterfly, who's still masked and covered in mud, has blood all over her. But as you move away, you break contact with the guy who you are currently speaking to. You kind of slide away. She holds up the dagger and faces you. And you can see the mask she's wearing looks like it's broken. Tara looks like she's shattered it, kind of cracked it down the middle. So you can see a little bit of this woman's smile. You see piercings all along this tongue. Her lips look like they've been busted, like Tara got a good in strike. But she raises the dagger up like in a stabbing position. And this wicked grin passes underneath the shadow of the mask as she begins to start pacing around you. Before combat can begin in earnest, though, a dagger slams into her chest from the front, flying right past you and slamming into her esophagus. You see her grab her throat for a minute and stare at the butterfly that's behind you, whose arm is still extended. And she looks at him for a second. Her brow furrows. She tears the mask off, and you see this woman with this hair. It's like shaved off to the side, tattoos and scarification, symbol of the butterflies on her. And she stares daggers at this man who has the mask on. She pushes past you for a second and raises this dagger. She stumbles towards him. He just slowly lowers his hand as she takes 3 more steps and pitches forward dead in the mud right in front of her. Just splats on the ground. And a light rain begins to pick up the moment she hits.
Okay, that surprised me. I admit. I guess. Good surprise. Are you going to stab me now? I'd really rather not be stabbed. I've thought very seriously about it, and I've come to the conclusion I'd prefer not to be stabbed.
You see a small smile come to his face again, and he opens his mouth to reply to you when his eyes dart to the left, and you hear this clicking, this. He glances over, and you see him take a couple of steps back. His confidence vanishes as her raptor begins to reemerge from the bush from where it ran away. And you see it slowly walking towards her fallen body. And he looks at you for a second and starts to back away.
I will also back away.
As you start backing away, he slowly reaches down and picks up the spear that he apparently has dropped in the mud. You see him reach down and slowly pick it up. This raptor moves over and lowers its head to her corpse as the rain starts to spatter against the mud. And you see it gently nudge her to see if she moves. She doesn't, of course. The raptor lingers for a moment. As it does, you see those hunter reptilian eyes regard everybody here. The raptor kind of dips its head low. Now, this is a full-grown, you're not sure what species. It's some kind of raptor covered in war paints and mud, and it's wearing a harness of some kind. But it's about 6 feet at the shoulder, so it's not a small boy. this thing kind of paces around a little bit and once again nudges down and sees to get her to move. You can tell from the noises it starts to make that it's becoming agitated as she's not moving. You can hear these clicking sounds coming from it. But a few moments later, that second raptor that he was riding on starts to emerge. And his raptor doesn't look quite as aggressive, rather more confused. It's a little more upright, walking the way it does with its head kind of doing that chicken walk as it kind of moves in there and regards everything. Its reptilian eye is scanning over it. Her raptor finally seems to relent and step back and then take a couple of steps. The other raptor and the two seem to have this communication going on. You're not entirely sure what's going on, but it looks like they're looking at each other and kind of sussing each other out and pacing around. The butterfly who has got the spear in his hand and the dagger looks over to you and goes, "Go check on your friend."
Yeah, you got this. You are very good at, I look down at her, fighting, and I bet your raptor's kind of the same way, so I'll just go check on. That's an encouragement for attack tasks.
Okay. Oh, so you're easing his difficulties? Okay.
And the other raptors, assuming they're the same level, that means one of the raptors would auto hit the other raptor because it'd be one level higher.
Okay.
But that's assuming.
Yeah.
And when you assume. Poor Ume. How's Tara looking?
You reach over to her and she is not in great shape. As you reach her, you see her hands are shaking as she's reaching down and slowly gauging how deep the knife is that's in her chest right now. She reaches down and she kind of tugs a little bit and she goes, and when you reach her, she looks up at you and she shakes her head as you squat down next to her. She goes, you can tell she sounds like she's out of breath. If you want to make a roll, any kind of medicine check or first aid you've got.
All right. I will spend a point of intellect to reduce this task. What's the difficulty?
Difficulty is 4. So that'll reduce it down to 3.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Cool. Fun. Funky fresh. Awesome.
We got story points. We got story points.
Yep, that's true. You do have
I think I would like, cause
well, this one's from Rogan. So thank you so much, Rogan, for that story point and for your contributions to the Stream Punks. That's going to drop it down from 9 down to 6 or better. So difficulty 2.
14.
14. Yeah, it's what you probably thought it was. You can tell by it sounds like she's had the breath knocked out of her and the way she's breathing, the way she's trembling. It probably got her lung. You see she's trying to sort of like pace her breath a little bit and she goes, can't pull it out. It's gonna kill me if I pull it out.
Do I hear breath sounds in both lungs if I put my ear to
lean in close? With that successful roll, yes, you do.
Okay. That's really good. That you get sounds when lungs fill with air and then don't have air because you breathe out. The in and out, both of those are very good.
Sounds like she probably got what you're guessing is with that roll. What you're guessing is the stab probably knocked the breath out of her. I'm sure it hit something vital in there, but it looks like her lungs are okay from what you can tell. She's still alive, so clearly no heart tissue has been damaged at this particular moment with the dagger. She may have gotten really lucky, or she might be on the edge.
If I look at the handle of the dagger, that can usually give you some sense of how long the blade was, because I don't know that I saw that, but like for a dagger to be balanced, you could make some inferences based on the handle, like, and by extension, maybe how deep this went.
So you examine the wound.
Where is it? Yeah.
And I'm going to go ahead and just continue banking off of the roll that you made. But you examine the
appreciate it.
wound. What you get is her armor saved her life. The dagger is in. It is going to be a wound, and it has knocked the breath out of her, but she could make it. Judging from the length of the handle and the depth of the blade, you can see the thickness of the armor. This probably tore the musculature and made its way in, but it didn't hit anything
Okay.
vital, you're guessing. Otherwise,
Yeah.
considering its location, she should be dying right now, but she's
Right.
hanging in there.
Because if it hurts to breathe, it can hurt to breathe because it's in your lung, but like it can also hurt to breathe because muscle. Ow.
Because muscle
Tear,
it's
stab,
just not supposed to be in
breathe.
twos. Yeah.
Ow.
Right.
Or Costco. All right. So
Call me out.
Okay. I think we can get you some help. I think bad news is you're probably going to have to put up with my company for a whole lot longer, all right?
She tries not to laugh. You see the smile come to her face and she goes,
No, my jokes are terrible. They have no value. Okay.
Who? She kind of nods over to the guy. And you see he's turned his back on the two of you and he's watching these raptors. If you want to make a check here, you can find out what's going on. But his attention is truly on these raptors. These raptors are staring each other down right now as they kind of pace around one another.
Yeah, and I should be breaking off once I've studied to re-up encouragement for both of them. Yep,
Okay.
no, that's a good deadly fair.
Okay, so you're checking the difficulty. These raptors are difficulty 4 creatures, so you're going to have to beat that if you want to find out what the body language here is and what's going on with these animals.
Okay, I can certainly try. Yeah, I think I'll just roll at a difficulty 4.
Okay.
But again, that's re-upping encouragement to boost the not her raptor, the other one.
Right. Okay, gotcha.
Ostensibly allies.
Ostensibly allies, another band name.
Oh, devil. All right. One short. Which is fair enough. I don't know. I rolled.
Can't do everything. Yeah.
No, I also don't. I don't know dinosaur. I know people.
You grew up in Kaleno. They were around, sure, but you didn't exactly live inside the Red Jaw Wilds, so you're still
shockingly.
kind of
I didn't surround myself with carnivores other than upper administration.
Right.
They'll get you.
You don't know what's going on, but there's a dance taking place, and it seems like this butterfly who saved your life is very, very focused on it right now. If Zach was here, he could probably tell you everything that was happening, but these raptors are clearly having some kind of a chat with one another without saying a thing. They're just kind of staring each other down. One of them moves. What's particularly stands out to you the most, Ozzie, is how one of them will just stop and kind of pretend like they're looking elsewhere. And the other one will do the same, facing the opposite direction, but neither one of them move. They kind of just stand there. You don't know specifically what's going on, but you kind of get the impression there's a dominance thing happening here right now because neither one of them are leaving or moving or backing down. You're just not sure what the dynamics are. But after a few moments, the raptor that belonged to the woman that just tried to kill you slowly turns and starts calmly and slowly walking away. Very much like if you've seen a cat in real life after a cat fight almost happens and one of them decides it ain't worth it and they try not to provoke the one that they're walking away from. So it's kind of a slow walk. You witness that. It's incredible to see an animal that large, how delicate and subtle their movements are as it slowly moves back towards the bush. The raptor in question that belongs to this butterfly doesn't give chase or anything, also kind of feigns a bit of an indifference, but every now and then darts its head back over to watch the other one leave. And as soon as the other one departs, he lowers his blade and moves over to you, sheathing his dagger. Stands next to you, then looks down at her and says, "Is she going to make it?"
I'm not a doctor, but I heard breath everywhere. think we're okay. I think you want breathing everywhere, well, both sides.
He nods. He squats down and says, I don't know much about first aid, but I do have a stim pack if she needs it. If I remember correctly, you guys did bring medical supplies on the off chance that something like this would happen, and she does have that in her pack as well. So if you need to juice her, she has one too. Just as a quick reminder.
Yes, I appreciate that because Ozzie chronically underprepares in that sort of I can freeload off my incredibly well-prepared friend.
Ozzie is all of us.
Someone has to bring the Cretaceous granola bars. I'm just saying.
Okay.
I'm the sunscreen friend.
So suffice to say, either digging through her pack or his, she is given a stim. It's very much like a hypo spray. Just kind of fits into her arm. You see it drain a blue fluid right into her veins, and you see her just go as you see like the pressure kind of mount in her arm for a second. Her veins become visible for a second as the medicine takes effect. And he just says, she'll be all right in about 10, 15 minutes or so.
I'm inclined at this point to remove the bladed object from her intercostal tissue. Do you concur, doctor?
He looks down and says, 50-50. Might as well do it now. Put pressure on it. Are you ready for this? And she goes, yeah.
Yoink.
Okay. Make a roll.
Okay.
Difficulty is going to be 4 again because you're yanking a blade. You could end up damaging her again, but you might actually help the healing process here. So go ahead and I would say if you've got anything, this is going to be, I'll allow you, this is going to be kind of a unique roll because technically it's it's like a dex check. So it'd be your speed here. If you want to use that, you can. I'll also allow intellect.
I would love intellect.
Okay.
Intellect would be great.
Like that.
Thank you.
Have some intellect check. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So I'll spend another point, which brings my intellect down to 15. Marking that off.
Okay. So you're exhausted. Do you need an ox point for that, or are you good?
Would you say that this is learning something new?
I mean, field medicine, yeah. I would say you're learning combat medicine. Sure.
I'm trained in that.
Okay, in which case that'll drop it down by 1 immediately.
Yep. Okay.
Wait, trained is different. Oh no, that's right. Yeah. Because that's the level where you actually gain yeah. Okay, cool.
I'm trained in learning new things.
Cool. All right.
Is there any help from this person being there that they're doing it fast, that they're distracting, that Tara doesn't have time to tense up because they don't know it's coming? Like, does that help in this at all?
Honestly, I would normally have said yes, but Ozzie didn't want to give her a second to brace for this and get it done, so he wasn't prepared either. So
that's fair. That's fair.
But Ozzie, you managed to drop the difficulty, so you've got a really good shot here. So go ahead. Let's see. You dropped it from 12 down to 9, and then you dropped it down to 6 again, if I remember correctly, because you spent the points. So 6 or better.
Oh my goodness gracious! A natural 20.
Okay, that's a major effect. So as you pull it free, what you discover is the blade didn't penetrate her chest at all. It looks like it has dented in the armor, and literally it looks like it hit right at the base of her sternum and knocked the air completely out of her. You see what looks like this darkened red whelp starting to grow where the armor itself was destroyed and almost punctured the center of her chest, but she is currently in pain, probably having like a phantom knife wound from panic and also the damage that was done to her. But because of a nat 20, that's a major effect. I'm going to rule that she is uninjured. You pull it free, you see just a little bead of blood at the edge of the knife where it barely pricked her. You just kind of, and you see him look at you and go, nice. Hey, your friend here just completely erased your wound. You should thank them.
I have a knife.
And instead of thanking them, she draws a blade in a quick, subtle motion and tries to put it to the neck of the butterfly, who catches it. It's a real quick motion. He goes, take a breath. Tara doesn't have the strength to fight him. She lowers the dagger and says, there you go. Good instincts, but I'm not a butterfly. I just wear the colors. Now, since we're all here and having a friendly conversation, and the one that wanted to kill everyone is fertilizing this beautiful swamp here in the middle of prehistoric wherever, I would really, really appreciate it if you would do me a solid and hand over the device you have. Don't worry, you're not in danger, but I can make your life a lot easier if you give it to me.
My life was really easy in Kaleno. That's kind of the funny thing. It's not easy at all right now.
I believe you. I believe you. I can
Mhm.
make it easier. I would really appreciate it if I could have the device.
I totally understand that.
You're not going to give it to me.
Think we both see where that aspect of this conversation is going, yeah.
All right.
Oh.
I'm prepared for this. Don't worry.
Okay.
Not resorting to
Mhm.
violence. I'm ready to bargain. You all ready to bargain? And he pats her on the chest and she starts to sit up and he reaches down and starts helping her up. And she goes, "Who the fuck are you?"
Oh
He goes,
yeah, no, that's a good question. That one. Yeah. Who the fuck are you?
"My name is Rega. And I am..." There's really no way to say this without... I'm a treasure hunter. Let's just put it that way. I'm a treasure hunter.
I'm flattered.
No, but I seek artifacts, I seek treasures, that sort of thing. So, pretty simple. You see now why I'm after it, and I'm willing to bargain. So, what is it you would want in return for this device? Knowledge? Money? Think about it as we step up here for a second. Shouldn't stay long, though, because the butterflies do know we're out here. So,
Yeah, I didn't get the impression they were real trusting of outsiders, and yet you're kind of presenting in an I infiltrated the butterflies sort of way, so
he nods.
what's up with that?
That would be a very difficult story to explain to you. Just to say, you are correct. I infiltrated the butterflies. It wasn't easy, but it wasn't hard either. So, let's talk about doing business. Obviously, you don't want to let go of the artifact. I completely understand. It's very valuable and you want to know probably what it does. My whole purpose for being here is to get it. So, let's talk. What can I do to get it from you?
Why do you think this has any value? Like, obviously it has sentimental value to me, but the heck?
No, that's a valid question. To you, only value it has is causing a lot of trouble for you and getting you probably killed by the butterflies, since they apparently want it too. They don't really know what it... Well, that's not true. I guess the leader probably knows what it does, but the rest of them don't. They just do what he says. I, on the other hand, am much more familiar with it, and I can use it and take it off your hands. But I am on a bit of a time crunch here. I cannot stay for very long, and you're in danger as long as you have it. So, bargain with me. What do you want? What do you
Alright.
need?
Look, whew. Why do I not have much time? Exactly.
Well,
Again, relevant information sets the table for bargaining.
Tara speaks up and says, "That raptor's headed back to the butterflies, isn't it?" And he nods and goes, "That's the one. Raptor's going to return to the butterflies without its rider."
Oh, so you're the one who's in danger, because it'll be heading back without you.
That's true. My cover is blown now. I've kind of thrown in my lot with the rest of you.
Oh gosh.
The only difference is I have an escape plan and you don't. So
Good luck.
I won't need it. You will. You can give me the device, though.
I can.
Still no.
Still no.
You haven't even
I don't
considered.
know who you are. I don't know that you are an honest dealer. I appreciate that I'm not dead right now.
All right. Tell you what. I will follow you wherever you wish to go. We can talk along the way. I've got, you see him pull out a device. This hologram blinks to life, and you see data starts popping up, and he looks at it and taps on it a few moments, and clearly not a butterfly because he's using some kind of advanced tech as he just goes, and closes it and slides it back into his pouch, tightens that up and clips it. He says, I'll give you an hour. We can talk, get to know each other a little bit more. You can head to wherever it was you were heading. And if I can convince you, great. And if not, that's a significant loss on my part.
I'm so sorry. Could you say that one more time? I just felt a real chill and I froze.
Let's walk and talk. Are you in agreement with this? Tara goes, fuck no. I don't know who the fuck you are. I don't know why I don't just kill your ass right now. I don't care if you saved us. Who the fuck are you? You see Tara's getting a little agitated. He goes, calm down, calm down. I'm not here to start the fight. I'm here to make an offer. If you take the offer, I can make life easy. I've said before. So what do you say? Talk and talk. Don't make decisions now. We'll go to wherever you're headed. She says, no, absolutely not. Why don't you get on the back of your raptor and go in the opposite direction before I do to you what I wasn't able to do to her? And that gets a reaction from him. He takes a step back and goes, all right. Tell you what, I'm going to linger here for about another half hour or so. If you change your mind, I'll be here, but I'm not going to risk my life for the device. Your lives will just continue to be complicated so long as you have it on you. The time anomalies, the things that are happening to you, it's all because of that. The longer you have it, the worse it's going to get. And the proximity it is to Silvercreek, the worse it's going to get.
I'm going to pick up Tara's pack
Okay.
off the ground, and I'm going to lean in as I hand it to her.
Okay.
And murmur, if nothing else, I need to find out how this guy knows about it and who he is, because that has to be connected to however Silvercreek is being threatened. Can you carry this right now, or do you need me to hang on to it for you?
Because I'm fine. I got it. He takes it. Slings it over. You know, the butterflies are going to send more than just 2 people. And the next people that they send, you're not going to have someone on the inside to help you. You're not going to make it alone out here. Give me the device. I vanish and they never find you. If anything, they come looking for me, and I'll be long gone.
I look to Tara, I look back at him. Walk with me.
Whistles, just sharp, piercing whistles. The raptor suddenly tenses up and pads over and pats the raptor and says, let's walk. Tara looks very uncomfortable with this arrangement, but nods to you as she slides her blades back into its sheath, does not button them. And she just whispers to you as the 3 of you begin to move forward. She just goes, this is fucked. I don't know what this is.
Neither do I. That's why I need to find out.
All right. The 3 of you begin to move closer and closer to the banks of the swamp where there is a raft waiting you to take you across the waters. On the other side of the fields, a few miles away, to the west of Silvercreek, is a exerted party trying to keep up with one of their members who is just darted. Dalia, you are sort of like clinging to Bruno, and Bruno has never been comfortable to ride. He's just barely big enough to carry you. So you're kind of doing this bouncy thing where your chest is starting to hurt a little bit because you're constantly banging up against like riding a horse for too long, except for in this case, it's your rib cage as you're kind of like holding on to him. You see the red jaw wilds. Right now, it looms menacingly overhead. These great giant trees that are just these epic shadows against shadows. The hurricane cloud cover has managed to start to break up a little bit. So this pitch black night has begun to open up to the stars. In the background, as you're rushing up ahead, you can hear maybe about 300 yards away, Zach and everybody calling out to you to slow down as you're darting ahead. As you're continuing to rush forward, though, you can't help but feel you're getting closer. This is right. You're getting closer. This is right. This sense of urgency, you can't help but get the impression that Bruno kind of senses it the way animals can sense the emotional state of their companions. Bruno just kind of is pushing on and pushing on. Make me a perception check, if you would, as you're approaching. And do remember that you have the ability. You have that ability that lets you see, despite the fact that it is incredibly dark out right now.
Yeah.
Perception, because it is pitch black, I did open the sky a little bit, so I'm going to reduce the difficulty one less. So right now, it is going to be a difficulty 5 check. So you would need a 15 or better on a D20 before trying to lower that.
All right. Let's try. So the sense the unseen, does that help me with anything?
If I remember correctly, since the unseen will let you find hidden things, what does the text say exactly? Because you
Or
described
rather
it.
see the unseen, sorry.
Yeah.
My game's mixed up there. You can automatically perceive creatures and objects that are normally invisible, out of phase, or only partially in this universe. When looking for things more conventionally hidden, the task is eased.
Okay.
Anywhere.
So then that means it's eased by how much? By 1?
It
Just
doesn't-
says it's eased.
Yeah.
Cool. That means eased by 1. So that means your 15, the difficulty 5 drops to a difficulty 4 instantly. So before
Okay.
you spend any points, you now need a 12 or better on a D20. So you can spend intellect pool if you want, or even an ox point if you want.
I am going to spend an intellect.
Okay. So 3 points out of your intellect pool minus your edge. And
Eh.
that's going to drop 12 down to a 9. So that's a difficulty 3 roll. You need a 9 or better.
That's better.
Yeah, considerably. A little over 50-50.
Well, good news is I got a 9. Exactly.
Y'all are hitting that line. Oh, you know what though? Bruno, if you could, I would also like you to roll perception. If you would please, Dino Bruno. Bruno's difficulty is actually going to be reduced down to 4. So 12 or better for Bruno.
Is this a perception check to
Yes.
find the prettiest dinosaur? Because I automatically succeed on those.
Oh, then we don't have to roll. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No, go ahead.
Does it have anything with time anomalies? Because I do have a training on that.
Not time
Okay,
anomalies.
cool.
Yeah.
All right. Are you sure it wasn't about finding the prettiest Brunosaur?
What'd you roll?
That one.
Nat 1. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Please enjoy.
So Bruno doesn't see it. Bruno is doing right by you, Dalia. And Bruno is very excited about this. Bruno knows you want Bruno to go forward. So Bruno is going forward better than anyone's ever gone forward ever in this entire universe. You, Dalia, as you're bouncing around on Bruno's chest and hearing the shouts of your friends from behind, you glance to your right as something in the corner of your eye catches your attention. And it takes you a moment to focus on what you're seeing, because by your estimations, as you are on the back of Bruno, what you're seeing is these huge tree trunks just flying past you as you're getting closer and closer to a pretty well-defined tree line of the Red Jaw Wilds.
Mhm.
And it's one of those things where you have to focus because you're not sure you're seeing what you think you're seeing. So you watch and give yourself a moment. One of those large tree clusters is moving with you. It's probably about maybe 100 yards from where you are to your right flank. As you're glancing into the tree line, you see something large and dark that is keeping pace with you. You don't hear anything, though. Mostly because you hear Bruno's footsteps, and Bruno just, the breath of Bruno as he's just completely charging forward, they are just propelled forward. But your instinct, because you made a successful perception check, your instinct immediately tells you whatever that is not good.
I'm sorry. The only thing that flashed in my head, I know this was supposed to be a scary moment, was Dino from the Flintstones being like,
Yeah. Yep, that's fair.
the sound of it. Great. Yeah. It hasn't made any moves toward it. It's just keeping pace.
That's what it looks like, yeah.
I'm gonna keep running.
Okay. You continue to move.
Because I feel like if I stop, that's gonna be worse.
All right. I'm not going to have the party who is well behind get you guys are gonna have you're not gonna have to make a roll because of Clover. As you were all moving forward, Clover, Zach is directly in front of you, keeping in mind that most of y'all are on foot right now. So keeping up
I
with
believe
Bruno-
all of us are on dinos.
no, because not everybody can ride dinos. Not everybody has
Atticus
dinos. Atticus can hold two. And then Sweets is not big enough to accommodate somebody being on the back of Sweets.
Michael Yen is on a dino.
Michael Yen's on his dino.
And I think Zach is the only one not on a dino right now.
Yes.
Right. Okay, let me get clarification then. Are you keeping pace with Zach? Or are you leaving Zach? Because my impression is y'all were moving as fast as your slowest person.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
I mean, that's what I assumed we were
foot.
Yeah.
I said which would probably be me if I'm on foot.
Yeah.
Right, right.
Because when we last left off, y'all were keeping pace with Zach because we kind of established that Zach couldn't ride while everybody else was saddled up.
We don't have Kimmy here?
Kimmy is here, but Kimmy is actually not large enough to carry somebody.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kimmy's like I think we had said was like circling last we checked in with her.
Okay, cool. Well, yeah, I know I think I declared that yeah, I think we probably are keeping pace with Zach then.
That was my assumption.
Yeah. I think last game I was like, I'm gonna follow, but yeah, I'll retract that.
Certainly can. So you don't leave because it is just as somebody on the outside looking in, it is a valid tactic to send at least one person ahead to make sure that Clover's not alone. But if you do want to
Dalia.
back, like whatever y'all, I'm sorry, Dalia. If you want to make sure that's the case,
Well, then it makes sense that the Atticus crew would, right? Or Michael Yen. Go ahead.
Yeah, however you want to do it.
I mean, yeah, I actually would want to follow Dalia.
Okay.
Not fully splitting, so not leaving Zach fully behind, but just like speeding up to try to
close some of that distance.
Yeah.
Okay.
If that's I'm not riding, I'm just riding along on Atticus, so
Here's the thing about Joe though. I don't think Joe really like you ride a horse in a way that like you're like kind of in control of steering in the situation. Joe just kind of hangs out on Atticus. So like if you you being a passenger is about as much as Joe is always doing on Atticus. So if you can either attempt to get Atticus to go forward or try to get Joe to do it, either of those is fine with me. Joe will not feel stepped on and I will also not feel stepped on. Like Joe is not like a wilderness dino rider. She's just here.
Got it. Okay.
So whatever path you want to take on that is totally cool with me.
Yeah. Okay. Then when Dalia zips ahead. Oh, I also notice what's in the trees.
Yeah.
So I think Clover would say, actually, sorry. So sorry to interrupt the flow. GM question.
Yeah.
Would Clover know what the proper protocol is for what she saw? So I wrote in my notes that she saw, I think, a theropod. I think she identified it was a theropod in the tree line.
Large predator.
Yeah, large predator. Where are my notes? So would she know? Is it like T-Rexes? You need to stand still because they can't see still things, or is it go faster? Like what would she know about that?
Yeah. Okay. So Clover, your instinct with the nat 20. So of course, what you know about T-Rexes is they are probably one of the most intelligent theropod species. They also have the largest eyes and the best night vision of every theropod species. They typically hunt in pairs, and they are typically just regarded as the most dangerous land predator in what will one day become the North American continent. They are the undisputed tyrannical kings of the Cretaceous era. A well-deserved reputation. If it is a T-Rex, y'all got a fight on your hands. T-Rex is, just so you know, and I think also Zach would know this too, just full player knowledge, again, because you rolled a nat 20. Stripe is a pretty powerful hunter. Stripe is very unique, though. Stripe is a very high level. Standard T-Rex is just one level below Stripe. So it's still an incredibly lethal thing. If this is a T-Rex, it is possible that it is. It carries the same body mass, and it is moving roughly at the same speed. What you would probably remember, the last bit of information I'll give you is, there's not a lot in it for. How do I put this? Your instinct tells you, based off of what you've seen, it's very unlikely a T-Rex is hunting Clover right now.
Dalia.
I'm sorry, Dalia. Why do I keep doing that? It's very unlikely that Dalia is being hunted by a T-Rex right now because there's no point in trying to keep up with Bruno. T-Rex will not try to chase things down. They're ambush hunters. They will track down, they will work together almost like a pack, and they will try to track down when their prey is at the most vulnerable. They typically hunt at night for this very reason. It's very unlikely that a T-Rex would be actively hunting and chasing down a quick moving dinosaur like Bruno. However, piecing together what you've got, you do see what looks like a large theropod that is currently on the move in the woods right now. And it is moving parallel to the party. It's kind of between you guys and where you know Dalia to be, up ahead.
Okay. So it's okay. We're kind of moving in the same direction of it, and it's slightly ahead of us.
Yeah. Do this. I'm going to say that your nat 20 is actually going to trigger another roll. It's going to open the door to a second roll to try to put together what it is you're seeing.
Okay.
So if you want to make an intellect-based check to try to investigate or get an idea on this, typically I would have this as a pretty high difficulty. But I'm going to set this. I'll set this at a standard difficulty of 4. So you need a 12 or better just right off the bat.
Okay.
She did see this through Sweet's vision. Can she get an assist on getting multiple angles on what's happening?
Not on this one. She's gotten all the information she can get with what I gave her. So what's coming together next is seeing if she can put together the puzzle pieces of the information. This is kind of like an investigation check.
Okay.
Like yeah.
I will spend a level of effort.
Okay. It'll drop it down.
Remind me, does it cost 2 or 3 for effort?
So anytime you spend effort, it's 3 for the first spend and then 2 for every spend after, but always subtract your edge rating.
Okay, so now I have 2 in my intellect edge, so that just costs 1 for me.
1 point, so that drops down another one. So it drops down to 6. You have difficulty 2 right now.
All right, I'm gonna roll on that.
What's up, Zach?
Go ahead.
Okay, you mind if I ask you something before you go through with this?
Yeah.
Has anyone given any kind of signs that they're wigging out, or has any of the dinosaurs made any kind of?
No, none of the
Okay.
None of the dinos know that this creature is currently rushing.
It's the same for everybody as well. Like
the only person that has spotted this creature right now has been a very successful roll from Clover, who spotted it in the woods with a nat 20.
Last question is: have you given any kind of outward sign that like you've peeped something? Because I might be able to save you some points if your character's like something's off.
You can do that. I'll allow that, Eliza, if you want to help.
I would say I'm about to say something, and before this roll, I would be looking very intently in the tree line. You would probably notice that,
In that case, if you don't mind, if you want to have this moment, feel free. But if you don't mind, what I could do is I could just spend 2 intellect points, and I find out everything. It's called Discover Dinos. You scour the area within long range. Never mind me.
You know what?
That's amazing. Just do it.
Yeah,
you can just do it.
And it's free for me because I have my 2 intellect.
There we go. You got it.
Yeah,
you had to chime in because you had to remind.
Yes, thank you, Noir. Thank you.
No problem.
Although Noir, it is great that you bring that up because you weren't here last week. You should get a roll here to notice some things. So let me handle. Let me cover what's going on with Clover first.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right.
All right, so you make your 2 spins. So what does that
Dino
specifically
expert.
give you, that ability?
Yeah, so it says you scour the area within long range, searching for any signs of current or recent dinosaur activity. If there is or was a dinosaur in this area, you discover its level and general type, as well as any additional facts that the GM feels are pertinent about the creature.
Okay. All right. Well, you're not. So here's
They
under the
may.
rule. That just to clarify, that ability basically states that you're kind of doing a cutscene where you scour the area and scout it out and whatnot. In this case, you're not doing that. Instead, what you'll be doing is
yeah.
you are basically taking the information you've got and using your instinct of what you know as a butterfly and who's lived on the frontier. This is definitely a T-Rex. It is a level 7 dinosaur, and it is currently hosting a rider on its back who is holding a spear.
That I didn't know before.
Yeah.
Okay.
That becomes clear to you because you begin to realize the only reason why this thing would be engaging in any kind of a chase right now is if it wasn't hunting. It's being told what to do.
Wow.
So right now there is a T-Rex with a rider on the back, and I'll go ahead and give it to you, Clover, because the truth is you're a former butterfly, but it's a high probability that that's a butterfly that is currently trying to chase down Dalia. And there is just, you know how fast T-Rexes move. They're pretty quick, faster than a lot of people give them credit for, and a hell of a lot quieter than people give them credit for. But it's not going to be able to keep up with Bruno. What it can do is keep pace to see where Bruno's going.
So I do get the sense that it's following Bruno and
Yeah.
Dalia? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, in that case. God, I don't even know how to express all this. I will tap. I imagine I'm behind you, Joe. I will
Probably,
tap
yeah.
you on the shoulder, and then when I get your attention, I will signal to Zach and Michael. And when I have everyone's attention, I'll be like, point to the tree line, and I'll do like a T-Rex motion.
Zach, instantly a bunch of instincts flood into your body.
And I'll do this butterfly. hand
That's
motion.
what changes everything. Zach,
Yeah.
immediately when you find out there's a T-Rex that's hunting right now, your first thought is, oh, it's Bruno. It can hear Bruno running. Like, that's the number. Like, a panicked trike is probably attracted the attention of a hunting T. Oh, no, it's a butterfly. It's worse.
Wonderful.
It's worse than a T-Rex.
All right. Well, I think he's just gonna say keep moving. And he's gonna draw his bow. We're just gonna keep moving and wait for any signs of hostility.
Should we go fast? Should we go at least faster? Spread out our line so we're closer, or do we secret keep it? Pretend we don't know.
They haven't attacked yet, which means they're waiting for something. That thing that they're waiting for could be a change in pace, so let's continue pace as is.
Okay, but Dahlia's leading them right to the thing that they're not supposed to know about.
Oh crap!
Mhm.
Oh crap! Yeah, we just keep going as we are. If they speed up, we speed up. But yeah.
Are they keeping pace with Bruno, or are they more like
They're starting to lag behind Bruno. They're
stalking?
actually edging closer to you guys at this point, but they are
Okay.
definitely following Bruno.
Okay.
They don't seem to be that focused on y'all. They seem to be a little more interested in where Bruno's headed.
Interesting. Okay.
Wherever they are.
Interesting. Yeah. Yeah, I'm with Zach. I think we just follow a pace with the T-Rex.
I think we all need to come to the acceptance that once we reach our location, there will be a conflict of some nature. Do whatever you need to on the journey there to prepare yourself for that inevitability.
I check my pulse rifle. Not pulse rifle. What is it called? Is it a pulse rifle?
You
Isn't that
have a-
alien?
When suddenly, all of a sudden, Martha, you wake up from your weird acid dream.
I thought they were dinos. That was weird.
Tig is looking at you like, are you okay?
And you were there, and you were there.
You had glasses.
Man, you drank a lot last night. Yeah, so
Too much
you
bug
get the
juice.
impression. Well, I should tell you first off, the mention that combat is inevitable gets Michael Yen very nervous. You see him clutch to his hattie and just kind of nods. Not much of a fighter, really. I'll do what I can. I don't want anything to happen to. I don't want anything to happen to Dalia.
Then your responsibility will be making sure that everyone else that's also not a fighter stays out of the fight. Anyone else that is willing and able to fight, you can join me.
Not.
Yeah, I'll be with you.
Quite nervous. All right.
We'll be fine, Doctor.
With that, you guys continue to proceed. This way bizarre three-way race as Bruno continues to pull ahead and then eventually vanishes into the thick of the Red Jaw wilds. You lose sight of Bruno eventually. Dalia, it is a exhausting dash, and somehow Bruno manages to keep pace the entire time. Until eventually Bruno suddenly comes to a stop. Bruno, your senses are filled with the instinct that there is time anomaly. You can sense it. It's overwhelming. You feel it all around you. And when you come to a stop, Bruno, you are absolutely breathless, having just ran non-stop for well over a few miles, way past what you normally do. You're mostly a sprinter. In this case, you did some long running, and you are just heaving right now, like a horse that has been run well past its exhaustion rate. You can feel too, Dalia, underneath your ribs, you can feel the heaving chest of this bipedal dinosaur just.
Yeah, I rub Bruno. Yeah, that's good. Good job. Yep, we did it. She's gonna look behind her to see if she sees what she saw earlier.
You see a very beautiful, dark, ancient woodland, and it's filled with sounds of the evening. Insects and other creatures calling out to each other. The sounds of a wilderness that is not currently being disturbed. In front of you, not more than maybe about 200 yards as well. About 200 yards, you would see what looks like the towering formation of a huge rock-like structure. It's just jutting very out of place here in the middle of this wilderness. Look like great, like jagged, crooked teeth that are just kind of erupting from the earth and have come to lean on each other.
So Bruno senses a time anomaly.
Yeah, Bruno's definitely communicating the sensation of a time anomaly nearby.
Because I have time tap.
Which will let you do?
Using an implant, fingerprint, lock device, or other equipment unique to you, you connect with a time anomaly that is within immediate range and ask it one basic question about a recent or current event, experience, or person.
Implant? Or a fingerprint?
Lock
Just
device.
having a piece of tech. It's a tech interface.
That's the typical flavor, presumably for someone without Dalia's focus.
Okay, that makes more sense. So an Osteon can just do this then, as opposed to requiring any kind of technology.
Yeah.
Okay, what is that? So you slide off the back of Bruno. You feel it too, Dalia. It's here. It doesn't feel as chaotic as it does at Silvercreek, or it has lately. This feels a little more like what you're used to. The presence of time anomalies. Now, real quick question, just as a refresher, who has the device? Okay.
Which one?
The real one. Okay. So, keeping that in mind, Dalia, you feel the presence of time anomalies nearby. It doesn't feel like it's world shattering, like it's reality piercing. It feels like the presence of a time anomaly nearby. It doesn't feel like it's upsetting or it's going to rip your perceptions around. It feels like it normally does, like it did before all of this madness started.
Okay.
What would you like to do? You're out here by yourself right now. You've got a good head start on everybody else.
Well, I would like to time tap and ask what's happened here.
So as you shift through the foliage, then looking for a time anomaly, knowing that they are nearby, Bruno is kind of leading you in that direction. Bruno, as you one step, just again, still heaving from exertion. Actually, let's go ahead and I'm going to have Bruno make a quick strength check. And I'll set the difficulty to C. I'm going to say, I'll set the difficulty here at 4. It's just another standard 12 roll. Good roundabout. Well, make a strength check for Bruno.
Is this the strength of Bruno's beauty and charm?
It is not. No.
Disappointing.
Yeah.
Disappointing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Bruno's don't have pools. So if it isn't a skill I have, that's just a flat roll.
That's just a flat roll, so it's a 12 or better.
Oh my! Okay. But here's the thing. What if it is about Bruno's strength and charm? That's a natural 20.
Karma
one
is
for Bruno and a 20
for all of this. Bruno, as you start, you put your hand on Bruno's neck, and as you're moving forward, kind of running your fingers through the feathers, you feel Bruno tense up suddenly with excitement. And despite Bruno's exhaustion, takes no strength damage from all of that running, and Bruno just starts moving forward. And in fact, Bruno is in excellent shape despite all that running. Totally excited. The adrenaline rush pushing Bruno past the point of having to roll or worry about exhaustion. It takes about 15 or so minutes before the two of you enter into a small opening. You're moving closer to this pile of rocks, Dalia. But as you move into a clearing where the foliage begins to bleed away, giving space to like gravel and rock face, you see, there it is in the middle of the shining night. You see what looks like this bizarre amalgam of reality, kind of broken like a 50% opacity shattered mirror just hovering in the center of the air with different landscapes joining into one single moment in time, a single point. Landscapes kind of shift immediately, and you feel you've found a time anomaly. Moving over to it, you slowly put your hand into it, and you see your hand distort as you tap into space-time. What would you like to do? You're going to ask it a question?
Yes, I get to ask one basic question about a recent or current event, experience, or person.
Okay.
So I'd like to ask what happened here.
Okay. You search for any kind of connection, and your mind floods. At first, you see a pristine, beautiful jungle in the daytime. And for a second, you find yourself standing in a beautiful afternoon. And in front of you, you see a pristine-looking SATI bunker with scientists on the outside having conversations as they are scanning the surrounding area in these lab coats. You see hovering drones that are chirping this strange sort of the computer language. A couple of scientists walking past. You immediately feel like this is old SATI, 100 years or so ago. Kind of twists and contorts, and then you find yourself in a closer time period. You're guessing this must have been much more recent, and you're not standing outside this place anymore. Instead, you are inside this darkened room. You see two individuals in front of you. The interior of this room to you, Dalia, looks a little bit like the interior of Melina's lab. One of them is saying something to the other one, but you can't tell what it is. But you see one of them is removing what looks like a device from the inside of what you're pretty sure is a computer mainframe, and is gently putting it into a satchel in a bag. The two of them are laughing. One kind of nods and squats down and starts tying the bag up when the one behind him pulls a dagger and stabs him right through the back of covers his mouth. Guy he stabs doesn't go down, and instead whips around and grabs hold of the guy's neck, and they both pitch over the top of a table as a fight breaks out. It's brutal, it's intimate, and it's quick. But the guy who stabs him is the only one that stands up, wipes blood off of his face. Bearded gentleman, you can see it looks like he's got paint on the side of his face, like not ritualistic, maybe camouflage of some kind. But he doesn't look like a butterfly, and he doesn't look like SATI. You don't know who he is. But you get a good look at his face. And he pulls the dagger out and quickly, panically rushes over to this thing that's been withdrawn from the computer and snatches it up. And the vision, and you're standing back in the wilds with Bruno's eye in your face, wondering why you're not moving.
Whoa.
You also get a cipher because you interacted with the time anomaly. So,
Yay!
I'm going to need you to roll a d10, or first of all, roll a d6.
Okay. 4.
4. Okay, so then now roll me a d10.
You would ask for a D10, and I don't have one right next to
Roll
me.
a d20 and divide it by 2.
8.
8. What is that? That's something you're going to abuse. I just know it. Oh, okay. Roll a d6, please. We're going to find out what level this cipher is.
6.
It is a 9th level cipher. That is a powerful cipher. Level 9, just so you know, levels only go up to 10 in this game.
Woo!
Okay. It's called Look Away. Changes light waves around physical non-living object that the user is in physical contact with, causing the object to seem invisible. Anyone who looks in the direction of the object for too long experiences an intense headache and a sense of dizziness. The object must be no bigger than something you could hold in 2 hands. The effect breaks if the object leaves your touch. You can basically pick up something that is inanimate, that's non-living. You can pick it up and actually cause it to go invisible right in front of you. It's level 9. There's no one that I can think of that can hit a level 9 perception check. If this was Callisto 6, maybe, but not so much here. So as you were holding this, you see the veins in your arm light up as a cipher begins to bond with your DNA, and the ability is absorbed into your body. You can use this once.
I think I know I'm going to use it on.
There's sort of a distant roll of thunder as the time anomaly just goes and vanishes in front of you.
Huh. Is the facility in front of me?
Yes. The thing is you may not have known what the hell you were looking at here in the darkness, but now you've seen it in the light. And as you glance up those big broken chunks of rock, you know you're actually at the SATI bunker. It's just in the middle of the night.
I know I need to take cover because there's a T-Rex hunting me, but I don't want to go in the bunker.
What would you like to do? Your party's still a good distance behind you.
Is there any cover, like trees, anything like that?
In the Red Jaw Wilds is all around you, and you also have a lot of rocks out here. So if you want to hide, you can conceivably do that. But if you do, and a T-Rex comes wandering by, it's basically going to be a contested roll against the T-Rex to resist whether or not it sees you.
All right, sorry team. I got to go in the bunker. I'm not going to adventure in too far, but just enough to get cover.
You don't know what we know. Dalia doesn't know. You
It's true.
Taking the next action that is logically makes sense. Yeah.
So Dalia, the first thing you do is when you move over to the bunker, your instinct tells you this is going to be a hellish climb because there's no obvious way to get inside. The bunker looks like an observatory that is built into the side of a rock face. And what's curious is part of the observatory itself looks like it's slightly cracked open, like it's been broken open a little bit. But curiously enough, there is an old rope that is connected onto a hook that is just dangling off of the side that's been there for what looks like years. Just kind of dangling down the side across the cliff face down to about maybe 10, 15 feet away from the ground.
Well.
To answer your question, Sam is smiling because Sam is one of the people that threw that rope 6 years ago.
That's great.
Secrets of Silvercreek. That party, that's how they got into this place.
Well, I'm gonna yank on the rope and see how old it is.
Yeah. You give it a good tug. You definitely hear it creak. No pun intended. You hear there's like popping sounds as you kind of pull down on it. There is some give, but you have a feeling the fibers in it are strong enough that it'll hold for now.
Bruno, what am I going to do with you?
Bruno takes the opportunity to bite the rope and lean back.
Thank you. We will not speak of this. She's gonna start climbing up.
Okay, it is going to be a physical roll, but the check is eased considerably because you're using the rope. But it is going to be a difficulty 3 check, so you need a 9 or better on a d20, and it's strength based.
Why are you climbing on Bruno's rope? This belongs to Bruno. Very sad.
Well,
Very sad.
Bruno, I know. I literally have no strength. This is adorable. I have might. Wait, might, right?
Yep,
Yeah.
it's might.
Might be.
It is a might
I have
check.
7.
7's not going to do it.
No, I didn't roll. No, I'm just like I'm
Yeah,
looking
the
at my.
pool.
It says that the pool is
okay.
7.
Gotcha. Go ahead.
So you can spend from that to make it easier. You can
Mhm.
spend an ox point, or if you have any skills that have to do with physical or climbing or.
Yeah, I have none of that.
Okay, so you can take an ox point, or you can spend 3 points from your might, that's a little stressful right now. You could if you wanted to.
Can I
But
spend an ox point?
You can.
Mm.
This ox point is from Duran452. Thank you so much for your support.
Thank
Duran452.
you.
That's going to ease this by another one. So that is going to drop down to 6, to difficulty 2. Need a 6 or better.
I got it. 18.
Okay. Yeah, not only is it actually kind of easy to climb, but as it turns out, the last people that were here, probably the people you saw in your vision, looks like they've actually left some hooks in the side they helped use to get up this thing as well. So you kind of use a little bit of the rope and a little bit of these hooks that have been left in the side as you pull yourself up. When you get to the top, you pull yourself up to the lip, and you do see, to your amazement, what looks like a grand looking telescope. The thing looks like it's a cylinder that is roughly you're guessing about 12 feet in diameter, and fully extended probably reaches far outside this dome that is partially closed. On the inside, though, you see a couple of things that immediately cause you to kind of flinch a little bit, but you see webbing covering a lot of the interior. It's like opening an old shed, basically. This place has been exposed to the elements and anything that could crawl in here to make a home. So as you pull yourself up, it is pitch black inside. Total darkness. You're not sure how far down, but as you kind of lean over the lip and look down, Dalia, you don't see a ground.
Ooh.
And your breath, the noises you're making, the grunts as you're pulling yourself up, you don't hear anything bouncing back at you. Like, it gives you the impression that it's kind of a drop.
Oh, that's exciting. Is there at least somewhere that I can perch for a second?
Yeah, you can pull yourself up in the lip with that roll. Totally. Kind of.
Okay.
It's not comfortable, but you can get one thigh up onto the side and just kind of like perch there for a moment and kind of hold yourself in place.
I'm gonna look down at Bruno and kind of see if I can give Bruno.
Bruno's about close to about 80 feet down and is looking back up to you.
And
Not a
his
straight
legs are scrabbling as he tries to just keep biting the rope until up, and it never happens. It never happens, Dalia.
How much
So
noise is Bruno making?
In his beak and his
How much noise is Bruno making, and how distressed is Bruno? Because
Bruno
I'm gonna
is not a storm Bruno and was abandoned in the middle of a storm. Then, when he finally thought everything was okay, was left out here in this place that isn't home. I'm a distressed Bruno!
In which case, I'm going to activate a GM intrusion. Now, Cynthia, you can choose to reject it, but if you do, it costs you experience points to do it. So
I'll take it. I'll take
okay,
it. We will speak about this, Bruno.
You gain 1 XP, and you can give that the other XP to anybody else. Who would you like to have the second XP?
I'm gonna give it to Sam for Bruno. So
Okay.
cost
You gain
here.
an XP. 2 things you spot as you're kind of sitting there on the lip, Dalia, is you see a very pathetic looking, desperate Bruno trying to get up to you, and there's no way. And it's just enough cloud breakage. There's just enough break in the clouds that you catch the glint of light reflecting off the surface of the large glassy eye of a T-Rex that is looming on the edges of the wilds about 60 feet from Bruno, and Bruno has no idea. The thing's head is somewhat lowered, and it is moving terrifyingly quiet for a creature that stands close to 15 and a half feet tall and weighs in about 8 tons. It slowly edges with a thickly padded foot. You also spot it has what looks like a harness, a standing saddle, and somebody on its back. We're actually going to pause right there because it's 7:30. So 10 minutes and we'll be back. See you then.
I'm in danger.
Welcome back to the happy fun house that is Streampunks. And we are going to jump right back into what is going to be a very relaxing moment in time where Bruno is being stalked by a large theropod that is very eager to feed and has a rider on his back. We're going to go ahead and pick things up right where we left off, which was with the GM intrusion that got accepted. So right now, I'm going to have Bruno make a perception check. It is against the difficulty of the predator that has snuck up on Bruno. The T-Rex, as I stated earlier, has a pretty high,
What's the difficulty, Eric?
pretty high.
Eric.
Okay, so let me just confirm this because I want to make sure that I've got this down. Yeah, so the difficulty for this one is actually 7.
Oh,
So-
Bruno can't do that.
If Bruno can't spend, then Bruno auto fails.
No, dinosaurs don't have pools.
Okay, yeah, Bruno's going to auto fail then.
Okay.
Can I have a reaction to this?
Yeah,
at all?
you were part of the perception. Oh wait, no, you've got the perception check. You actually succeeded. Here, let's do this. Go ahead and make your roll right now. Make your perception check roll. Because the GM intrusion, I'll tell you what. Well, let's treat it like this. Let's treat it like an initiative check. So you can make an initiative check right now to alert Bruno, but you have to roll against the T-Rex's initiative. Is the problem?
Bruno has initiative.
So the initiative, no, because Bruno's already auto failing. This is to see if the warning gets to Bruno. If the warning gets to Bruno, then Bruno can roll initiative. Otherwise, but right now you need a 21 or better. Obviously, you can't hit that unless you spend because the difficulty is 7. So you're going to have to lower it. This is definitely going to be a moment if you would like to spend
A story point?
an ox crew point. An ox point is available to you.
Yes, please.
Okay, this comes from Shock22. An awesome Streampunk supporter. Thank you so much, Shock22. That's going to drop 7 down to 6. So you now need 18 or better before you spend or do anything else.
Whew.
Yeah.
Whew.
Yeah.
Ah!
Big monster creatures.
Little Bruno.
All right, well, let's see what happens. I don't think I have anything else in me to lower that. Wait, hold on. Do I?
Which pool is this coming from so she can see if she can spend?
Intellect. Perception checks are always intellect. So if you've got any intellect spends, you can use it.
Well, Bruno is not a small object, so I can't use what I thought I was going to use.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Bruno is
But I will
perfectly
spend-
sized.
I will spend some intellect points.
Okay, so it's 3 points minus your edge rating, and that'll drop it down from 18 down to 15. So that's a difficulty 5 roll.
All right. I think that's pretty much everything I can do to lower that. No. That's at 11.
You open your mouth to cry out to Bruno, but it's too fast. The T-Rex is just too quick. And by the time Bruno realizes something is very wrong, Bruno, your instinct, it's one of those moments where just the movement and the noise is enough to make you try to bolt without looking to see what it is. But as the instinct kicks in, 2 things take place. The first thing that takes place is the jaws of a T-Rex close around Bruno. It happens quickly. The T-Rex is large enough that its entire mouth gets around Bruno in one bite, just covers Bruno's entire upper body. The next thing that happens is a shout from the back of the T-Rex, and the T-Rex freezes before biting down, holding Bruno in place. You see, just lingering there, a well-trained T-Rex you can hear this thunderous, low bass just which you know is the low growl of a T-Rex holding off its instinct to crush Bruno in its jaws. Bruno, you were completely surrounded. And you were literally in the mouth of a T-Rex right now that has you clamped down. It hasn't bitten down, but you are completely clamped onto. Panic is absolutely causing Bruno just instantly, without much of a chance to react, Bruno is just screeching in panic right now. As every animal instinct in your body tells you you are being eaten by a predator. The T-Rex, though, holds its position. When
Can I
Bruno-
lock eyes with Bruno?
That would be an animal handling check if you're trying to tell Bruno something.
I was gonna try to use enthrall on Bruno to stop moving.
I'll let that, because that's an ability, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm
what
just
do you
gonna
spend
keep
for that?
talking. 1 intellect point.
So spend a. Do you have an edge in intellect?
Yes.
Then you get to do it for free. So you don't have to spend it. So you
Woo!
basically, what do you say to Bruno?
Calm down, BB. It's okay. You're gonna be fine. It's okay. You stop moving. Do not move. Please just keep calm. Happy thoughts of the bathtub. Happy thoughts. Happy thoughts. It's fine. Like, I just keep going on with this, like trying to get Bruno to stop even remotely moving so that the perfect feathers don't get ruffled.
The man on the back of this T-Rex is wearing a thick leather vest. Has no sleeves. It's just this open vest, very much like a sort of biker style. Exposed chest is scarred up, patches of hair, but you also see lots of tats and scars all over his body. He has no hair. It's completely bald with a big, thick beard. He looks like dinosaur Viking man. Wears thick leather-looking leggings that look like they were probably ripped straight from the body of a croc of some kind and fashioned into leggings. He has butterfly tattoos and scars all up and down his arms. There is a collection of what look like javelins and spears that are just kind of draped over the side of this T-Rex. He's in this harness that he's in, it stands up. So he is standing inside on this T-Rex. As the T-Rex is leaned over, he is stand up at a complete standing position. His legs just slightly parted as he is kind of on this creature's back, holding these reins. You don't get a good look at his facial features, but you detect from the stretch of the beard across his face that he's grinning at you. And he says, "Who the fuck are you? Coming so far out into the Red Jaw Wilds, let me guess, you're another one of these fucking Silvercreek. One of the citizens of Silvercreek coming out here, trying to get in on territory claimed by the butterflies. That's what it looks like to me. Is that what's happening here, little one?"
You have a very interesting perception, sir.
"Oh, you're from Kaleno City. I can smell it all over you. You talk like one of the tight asses from Kaleno City. So let me guess, you SATI? You out here to reclaim your bunker? Is that what that is?"
No, I'm here on my own mission and my own volition. Yes, I have a tight ass, but not what you would expect.
Silence stretches on as that one sinks in for a moment. "Friends are on the way. They're not going to get here in time before I kill this little bird right here and you with them. But maybe we could come to some kind of arrangement. You could tell me what the fuck you're doing here."
I'm trying to understand events that have happened here. Please just let my dino go. I can explain things to you.
"Well, I don't know if I can do that. See, Trisha here," and he pats the T-Rex. "Trisha here hadn't had a good meal in a while, and it just would upset her if I let him go now."
I'm sorry, Bruno, but Bruno's just a bunch of that's not enough meat for Trisha to be satisfied, to be honest with you. So it would probably behoove you to maybe let Bruno go because Trish is gonna want to go find something else to go eat anyways. Side note, GM,
Uh-huh.
I have Slick,
Okay.
and I have all brain and no brawn. No, that doesn't help me. Sorry, sleight of hand. No, I have Slick. I have Slick.
Okay.
I'm really good at being persuasive.
Yeah, you've already disarmed him by throwing a sexual innuendo at him. He was expecting like tough talk, but he looks like he's kind of been put on his back heel. If you want to go ahead and make a roll against his difficulty, what is that going to give you also on that roll? You said Slick will do what for
I'm
you?
Slick. I'm trained in all tasks dealing with persuasion, bluffing, misdirection, and deception, all of which I'm
Nice.
trying to do.
Yeah, no, that's definitely going to come in here. Okay, so that's going to be against his difficulty. That's automatically going to reduce it before you do anything else. It's going to reduce it down. So right now, it drops in difficulty. He is now difficulty 4.
Since this was in reference to Bruno, if it counts as coordinating with companion, you get an asset on all tasks involving storytelling, lies, trickery, diversion, or misdirection.
Yes, I would hate for you to be playing an Osteon, specifically making a socialite character and then not be able to use the abilities. Plus, it is in reference to Bruno. So,
And I'm pretty.
go ahead.
Was
I'll let you
Damn.
incorporate that in, and we can say story-wise, this butterfly might have noticed the beauty of the feathers on Bruno. So that would reduce it by another one. So that'll bring it down to 9. You would difficulty 3. You'll need a 9 or better before you spend anything else.
Bruno inside a T-Rex's mouth looking so beautiful and so pathetic and like not even worth a snack at all. Have you seen him?
12.
Just like
12. There's hesitation. You can see the T-Rex known as Trisha apparently seems to be somewhat agitated as it has not been allowed to finish what it started. You see the tail is just up in the air and it's kind of swaying back and forth, much like a cat who is just eager to finish the job. The feet clawing a little bit at the earth, scraping it, almost like a bull who's getting ready to charge, just kind of like pulling about at the soil. You can hear the rocks grinding underneath the tonnage of this creature. But the command doesn't come. And instead, the rider just nods and says, all right, we'll tell you what. I'll hold off and we'll bargain here. Keep this easy. I don't feel like climbing up a rope tonight. I don't feel like going through that much effort to kill someone. So I'll tell you what. You answer my questions. You answer honestly. You and your little dino here can go free.
Are you sure you want to climb up that rope? I mean, I'm the second prettiest thing standing here.
I could just leave you stranded here and tear the rope down. I mean,
You could do that too. That's not the most gentlemanly thing to do, though, for a lady.
I get the impression you're stalling.
Stalling? What would I have to stall for?
You're going to
I'll
answer
tell
my
you everything I know.
All right, then, first up, why are you here?
I told you I am here on my own volition. I saw something,
What'd
but
you
you
see?
wouldn't believe that.
Try me.
I've seen lots of things. I've seen 2 people fighting over a mechanical thingamajig, or who's gonna know what's it called. I've seen my future self, hands wrinkled and everything. I've seen an earthquake happen. I've seen prismatic colors. I've seen the literal fabric of time come to me like I was a magnet.
Face shifts a little bit. And he regards you, and just as Trisha begins to shift a little bit, irritated, he eyes you for a moment and says, Osteon?
Yes.
Make me another social roll, but I'm going to ease the difficulty by 2 on this one. So that's going to drop down to, it's going to default at 9.
11.
Okay. Dalia, you see him eye you for a moment. And then he says something, repeats a word twice quietly. Nothing happens. And then he gets angry, makes a loud noise, and cracks down on the back of the T-Rex. And you see suddenly Trisha, the T-Rex, just lets go of Bruno and sits upright. Bruno, if you would like to fight your instinct to run in terror.
No, I would not. I would like to run in terror.
Okay, Bruno bolts.
Apparently, and I looked this up to double check. Brunos go up to 50 miles an hour.
Yeah, T-Rex cannot match that. You're gone.
Goodbye.
Exit stage, Bruno.
Cartoon like
there's-
skittering noises.
There's gravel, and there's a chittering noise and a screech, and Bruno is just, there may be a feather floating through the air. And that's the only indication that Bruno was ever there.
But
And
it's
Bruno
the
is-
prettiest feather that's ever been.
Gone.
Can I catch the feather?
No, it's about 80 feet down, sadly. So you're not gonna
Oh,
be able to
damn.
catch-
Okay. All right.
You see, you can hear the low grumbles of this T-Rex as it kind of fights against him for a moment. And he says a couple more words to it and it starts to calm down again, seemingly very agitated that it was just letting go of a meal. And he manages to comment and says, Trisha's going to ask me to pay her back for that.
Well, then I guess we're gonna have to hunt together because you just got rid of my ride.
Well, you want to come on down here?
You come up here.
I feel like you're stalling again.
Not stalling.
You got friends behind you. I saw them on my way over here. You hoping they're going to get here before I have to do something about you?
No. I'm not afraid of you.
I should think not. You're 80 feet above my head. What do you got to fear, right?
Mm-hmm.
Guess I could just kill your friends then, and we can talk again.
You can try that, but I don't think you're gonna succeed, and I don't think that's what you really want to do. You want information.
You're not giving it to me.
I gave you everything that I know. Do you know what this place is?
You gave me riddles. I know exactly what this place is, and I want to know how the fuck you found it.
I told you I saw it in a vision.
At this point, I would like to remind the party that during the break, you guys discussed options, and you haven't taken it yet, but I want to remind you that at any point you can pop in if you want to take an option.
Pop in.
You want to do the thing you
So
guys-
you're desperately vamping until we do the thing we said we were going to do.
To be fair, she's the most qualified person in the party to do so.
So
Yeah.
just to clarify, in the narrative, y'all are not going to arrive before an encounter takes place here unless you guys intrude. Otherwise, this is going to play out. Because Bruno very much outran all of you.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Intruding includes what now? Because I think Zach is the last one that's going to be there because I'm on foot.
So a
So,
player...
no, so we were,
Go ahead.
I would say we were talking about potentially we can spend an XP for a player intrusion. And we were thinking of, we could maybe send our winged friends forward to be part of it.
The one creature that can outpace Bruno is a flyer.
And we have two.
We
You
got
have
two.
two.
So we were saying we could spend to send them up.
I have an XP I'm willing to spend on this.
I don't know
Y'all.
if I'm willing to put Kimmy in danger like
I mean, it could
know.
literally also just be intimidation.
Yeah.
It is 100% the trinket dilemma.
Mm-hmm.
Kimmy
All
flies
right.
high.
And Sweets
All
can
right,
be Sweets can
Kimmy's
be
gonna-
surveillance. Sweets isn't gonna do much.
Kimmy will
Wise.
circle.
Okay. There is
And- yeah.
Okay, so so first question. Kimmy is circling. So first of all, whoever's spending the XP, go ahead and spend it.
Done.
If Kimmy is circling, is the plan to sneak attack or is the plan to ward off? What is Kimmy's approach? And Kimmy, what are you doing? And what have you been ordered to do?
Yeah.
Are the two
So I just know that up until then, Kimmy has been airborne, basically like eyes in the sky kind of the whole time. So depending on what Zach asks of her.
Their go-to is generally Kimmy locates in circles to let Zach know where to go.
Mhm.
So this is more of a this is where the action is kind of thing. It's like
Okay,
their
cool.
tag team.
Yeah.
has
if that's
given,
okay.
given the instruction to Faster pussycat, kill, kill, kill kind of deal? Is that what's going on here, or is it?
It's find the prey and wait for the command to go. So that's why there's the circling, because she's waiting for it.
Okay.
Oh.
So then here's what's going to happen. The scene is going to continue to advance unless there's an interruption, and he doesn't know that Kimmy is up there. So this is going to keep moving forward because he cannot see Kimmy flying overhead. His focus is completely on Dalia right now.
Question: does the player intrusion get us both pterodactyls up there or pterosaurs?
Yeah, I would allow that. Yeah.
Okay.
It's basically like a narrative alteration is what's happening here. In the old Buffy game that I used to play, you would spend story points to have your watcher suddenly kick in the door to come to the rescue. It's the same sort of philosophy where you can spend story points and get, but player intrusions just like rerolls once per session.
Okay. I just wanted to say, I want to see through sweets.
Okay. You don't have to make a roll. You can see what Sweets is seeing because there is no tree cover where they are right now. This is a big out opening where there's lots of open space.
Okay.
So you see the scene unfolding. You see there is a T-Rex, a rider on the T-Rex. You recognize, Clover, who this is.
My God. These dang butterflies.
This is a butterfly named Krashad. He is 100% like... What's the best way to describe him? I would say the best way to describe Krashad is he is something akin to a predation version of Negan.
I totally got that.
Yeah,
totally got
that. Me too. You did real good.
Like a power tripping, violent, like authority figure. Well, like is not intimidated by anything, is not impressed by anything, and kind of has this sort of devil may care attitude towards violence. And curiously enough, though, what you are also seeing through Kimmy is that he has not enacted any kind of an attack. He seems to be having a conversation with a figure you see on the lip of this observatory, and you have to assume that's got to be Dalia. Curiously enough, you don't see Bruno anywhere. You don't see Bruno's body parts or anything anywhere. Doesn't look like this T-Rex is caught up to Bruno.
Has Clover given Sweets a command, or just leave his Sweets to his own devices?
Right now, just looking through Sweets.
I will throw out there that I don't know how big this T-Rex is, but big pterosaurs are a pain in the ass to like Rex style. So like it wouldn't be unreasonable for you to think that Kimmy just landing and being like an impose would be at least enough to like, if I'm wrong, GM, let me know. But I know that like full-grown pterosaurs like will make a T-Rex back off.
Here's the thing is, it's animal instinct. It's like what's tricky here is the T-Rex is trained.
Yes, exactly. So that's the difference here. But
that's the difference.
General.
But to expand on what you were saying, yes, a full-grown pterosaur can challenge a T-Rex. That is 100% true. They're usually about the same. Full-grown, they're about the same height. And pterosaurs typically don't play fair, whereas T-Rexes are kind of, earthbound, as it were. But when it comes to something like this, it's always going to come down to a roll or a difference between difficulty levels. In this case, you're dealing with a trained T-Rex that responds to the commands of a high-ranking butterfly.
I was more throwing out for Noir to be like, if you wanted to just throw something new into the equation, like it would not be unreasonable.
Not defenseless.
That's what I wanted to say. That's what I wanted to say.
I'm more in the Sweets mindset than thinking about.
I know. Kimmy is a legit threat. That is a big flyer. That can make life very difficult for people.
So So not to like throw any whatever, but like just for you to have context for like in the world that thing that Zach specifically would be very aware of.
I was gonna say this is only if it's okay with you, Clover. With Sweets being as curious as he is, I would gonna say they would most likely just be buzzing the area, trying to see everything that's happening, but also like doing it in such a way where they're not sticking around. So just kind of like, have you ever seen like birds just kind of drop, swoop, and go back up?
Yeah, totally.
So that's what I imagine that Sweets is doing in the area, just like, oh, what's that?
Swooping season into Cretaceous.
And specifically, are you diving on this guy?
yeah. Yeah.
Okay, because go ahead and map this out for you. He was
Mhm.
in the Red Jaw Wilds, and he saw y'all running parallel to him. There was no way he was going to see flyers also flying after you guys. So he does not know you have flyers. He's about to find out.
Mhm.
In the smug conversation that he is having with you right now, Dalia, if Sweets or Kimmy both want to do something,
Yeah, I would say what's the command for Kimmy?
Kimmy is just on reconnaissance, but that doesn't mean she's gonna listen.
She will
Well,
though.
so-
Like that's what I'm saying. Like you need to if you just said watch, that's what Kimmy's
Yeah,
gonna try to do.
it's just watch.
so
She's
Kimmy's
skittish,
not going to
she's
swoop
just gonna
then.
watch.
In which case, he's
Yeah.
going to be he's not going to know Kimmy's there. But if Sweets is swooping, who's much smaller and is gonna-
And brightly colored, like Sweets will. Yeah, you're gonna see Sweets.
Like in my head, Kimmy is disciplined. Sweets is like the sassy little annoying
Yeah.
teenager that's like, I'm gonna
Kimmy-
touch all the
Kimmy's-
things.
Kimmy's
It'll come-
skittish and like doesn't want to like if she's not told to do a thing unless it's like actively causing her distress, she's just doing the thing. She doesn't know what's happening down there. She's just doing the thing she was told. That's why I was like, I need to know the exact command because if it's just circle, that's all she's gonna do.
Yeah, just watch. That's the command for her.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's what she's doing. She's
So in which
close. She's
case-
right above it, but circle.
Okay, so then in which case Sweets is going to dive on this guy, right?
Mhm.
Okay, in which case that is going to be that's going to be an attack, basically. So
do it, Sweets.
in which case, I'm going to say you're going to have to make an attack roll on him.
Okay.
But here's the thing about that. He has no idea you are there, which is automatically going to drop the difficulty by 2. So he has no idea you're swooping on him. So that's going to drop the difficulty down to a 3. So you need a 9 or better.
Also, trained in flying, gliding, and diving.
Diving? Okay.
Mhm.
So then are you attacking him or is this to startle him, intimidate him? What are you doing specifically here?
Honestly, it's just because Sweets is nosy, but I'm gonna say to startle because it's like a fun game. Like, ooh,
If you're trying to pull a mockingbird on this guy, that totally works. If you're
Yeah.
trying to basically scream and get in his face and tell him to piss off, like mockingbirds tend to do to everything, no matter what it is, you can pull that here.
Yeah, it's the pet that's extremely friendly, but it's like a terrifying thing. So it's like,
Yeah, because her wingspan is the size of a human being.
yeah.
Okay,
15.
15 will hit, so that's not going to actually do damage, but you are going to successfully scare the bejesus out of him as Kimmy swoops down out of nowhere. Yeah, I was going to say he gets a brief moment of a whoosh of wind, and by the time he like jerks and looks up, he sees this screeching pterosaur basically swoop by just inches from his head as it takes back to the sky. That is going to startle Trisha, who immediately lurches up and then lowers its head down and lets out a low bear, like this bass just as this T-Rex opens its mouth threateningly, its tongue kind of lolling inside of its mouth. The thing looks up towards the sky and he catches sight of not only Kimmy, but he's now going to catch sight of Kimmy and Sweets now both are in his line of sight as he notices 2 pterosaurs basically circling overhead. And
I mean, honestly, if this T-Rex roars in the vicinity that Kimmy's been told to watch, she's gonna like there's like like in response, not quite is a fear response, but like
right.
Big roar, like there's like a quick screech. So honestly they would have seen her.
Yeah, getting closer to how science now believes that T-Rexes sounded. It's not the Jurassic Park sound effect of a large Godzilla-like roar. It's actually more of like a gator kind of exhaling this low rumbling growl. Since science now, believe it or not, interestingly enough, science now believes that that T-Rexes did not vocalize. That they actually didn't need to open their mouths to vocalize. They could do it with their mouths closed. Mm-hmm. So at this point, you see this creature just kind of like is looking nervously up at the sky again and again and again. And does not look very pleased right now. The T-Rex seems very agitated, even more so. Not angry that it lost a meal, but now very untrusting of the air. One of the great things about chasing away creatures this large is they're not necessarily designed to keep looking up at the things that can swoop down on them. So Trisha looks like she doesn't like this. And you see her feet kind of shift underneath him, and he steadies her as he's looking up as well, and he glances back at you. He doesn't have any words, Dalia, as he's just kind of like standing there.
Told you I wasn't afraid of you.
Whatever you're doing, I hope you do it fast.
Why is that?
Well, because I'm going to go get my friends, and we're going to come back here and turn the rest of you all into a lovely piece of art.
Now, why would you do that and just interrupt the party? Like, you and I were vibing for a second there.
He just flashes you a grin and starts pulling Trisha away, and he says, I'll see you soon. We'll vibe then.
Just don't kill me or my friends, and we can have a wonderful party.
You're not sure what his reply is. He says something, but it's lost underneath the heavy thudding sounds of a T-Rex pulling away from the base of this cropping of rock. Kimmy, you see through the images below, you see the T-Rex, the guy on the back, looking up at you. You don't know if he knows that it's you or not, but Kershad and Trisha both disappear underneath the canopy of heavy trees of the Redjaw Wilds. You see him vanish underneath it as you guys are coming up on approach.
I would say if Kimmy was tasked with watching this area, something significant is changing, and so she would sound like that would be like there would be an alert that something changed.
Okay.
Like a 2-caw or something to Zach to hear.
Okay.
Upon hearing that, I'm just double timing.
Okay. Y'all just double time it. In which case, we are going to cut back to for y'all's arrival. We're going to cut back to far east on the other side of Silvercreek.
Why are all of the versions of me in danger tonight?
You did this. I just follow where you go.
Yeah, it's just the you who follows me is lots of deadly people.
There is that, yes.
You could be fewer deadly people. I'm just saying.
This large raft that y'all are on, you're pushing yourselves across the shallow areas of this riverbed.
Yeah.
It's not a very wide riverbed, and the water is not too deep where you guys are at. So much so that you can actually see clearly to the bottom. Large fish that are swimming through here with huge jaws that are underslung and kind of exuding these large spike-like fangs underneath. They're swimming through the fresh water. Out here, you don't have to worry about getting predated upon by ambush predators. You can see clearly straight to the bottom of the river here. It's safer in this direction. Though you have to imagine that now, Ozzie, especially after the rains, like you were warned, that when the sun comes up, this place is going to be blanketed with a cloud of mosquitoes that will likely block out the sunlight.
Then we shall fight in the shade.
You guys are pushing yourselves across. The guy who's yet to really introduce himself is just kind of sitting on this raft and looking around, keeping to himself kind of quietly. Tara's watching this. She's like slowly pushing you guys through the water. And she squats down and she goes, this kind of changes everything. I don't know where we're going. The butterflies that we thought were tracking us, I guess that was them. One of them's dead and the other one's what, our friend now? I don't know what to do. I thought we were outrunning these guys.
Well, we're about to be outrunning them apparently, since that raptor's going to go back to the butterflies. In the meantime, I need to find out how and what he knows.
She nods.
I'm going to let Vern enjoy the cool night air.
Okay.
Just a little perch on my shoulder, bowsprit onto the raft, and conveniently, since I'm opening the bag, right?
Vern,
Like it's open anyway for Vern.
the moment the bag opens, you see the most delicious green, glistening dragonfly that buzzes just past the raft and is kind of buzzing around curiously, inspecting everybody that's on the raft. Nobody else seems to see it but you. It has no idea you're there.
I'm gonna like scuttle over to the other shoulder to get closer to it.
Okay.
How close am I to it?
If you make just like the most outrageous Assassin's Creed style throwing yourself off the great tower of the shoulder that is Ozzie, you might be able to nab it.
Okay, let me see if I have anything that will help with this. Sneaking, hiding, finding, and tracking.
Okay.
Initiative, speed, defense, perception. Yeah, that's all I got. Everything else is social, I think.
You need a 6 or better on a D20.
I'm doing it. I
believe in you, Fern.
6 or better. Okay.
Yep.
You're the most ferocious hunter in the whole party.
Ferocious.
I didn't even put together the fun buns and the Vern. I'm in love.
Oh, me too. That's an 11.
An 11?
Mm-hmm.
It startles you, Ozzie, but yeah, Vern just throws themselves off of your shoulder with no sense of self-preservation.
Oh, whoa!
And does not stick the landing, but wow, gets a dragonfly as this little mammal creature just kind of goes ass over head and just tumbles onto the ground and begins to enjoy it's large enough where you can hear the nice crunching sounds of this dragon as Vern enjoys a fantastic catch.
Freeze for Vern in the air with the wings like out the mouth, like
yep,
like bully.
Yep.
Meanwhile, Freeze on the dragonfly. You're probably wondering how I got it.
I'd like to know what predation really is.
As Ozzie's behind going like slow-mo trying to catch him with the water.
All right.
Yeah, dragonfly. It's what's for dinner. I just look over at this fellow with a sort of like, what are you gonna do?
He is trying to mask his impatience, but he smiles and nods at you, but you can see it. You can see it, Ozzie. He looks like he's constantly looking over his shoulder. He looks like he's gauging how far until the other side of the river.
I'm gonna brush back the flap of my bag I just let Vern out of. And I'm gonna activate the device.
Okay.
The question I would like to ask about a current or recent event, experience, or person is, how did he find out about this?
Okay.
Vision of the answer. The vision it provides is not always 100% correct or clear, but usually contains at least one bit of pertinent information.
Oh, wow. Okay, this is going to be interesting. I know. I don't think.
Me neither. Not when I can help it.
You get back absolutely nothing. Like nothing. You get nothing. It's like it's not just that you don't receive any information. It's a tangible feeling of absence. Like he's not there. Like somehow he doesn't exist for a moment as you're trying to find out where he found out about this device. You feel like you step into an empty space where a man-shaped hole is how it feels in your mind and in your chat. Nothing. You've never experienced anything like it.
May I ask another context question? Because everything flew by too fast earlier for me to ask. But he pulled out a device. Did it look like it was of SATI origin?
Ooh, roll me a perception check.
I would love to. What's the difficulty? I mean, I've seen a lot of SATI devices.
You've seen plenty of them. I'll set the difficulty at 5. Make it challenging. So you need a 15 or better.
Jesus, Mina! All right. Well, I can spend an intellect point, and that's pretty much what I got.
Okay. So you'll drop it down from 15 down to 4, so you need a 12 or better.
Yep, all right. No.
Okay. You're not sure.
Okay.
You didn't get a good look at it. He was doing a good job of putting his hand over it so nobody else could see it.
Oh, interesting.
Mhm.
I mean, that tells you.
I mean, he was
Sometimes
hiding it. There's no
You
question
shouldn't
about
watch
that.
the device. You should watch the person.
He was definitely hiding it. There's no question about that.
So where are you from anyway?
Originally, I'm from Kaleno myself.
And then?
Then I moved up and down the chalk road with my parents.
Been traveling around a lot then?
Smirks a little bit and says, yes. Staying on the move.
Hi.
Safer that way. Don't want to live in Kaleno. The other places, not a big fan.
I mean, it's a nice place to lay your head. I've only been traveling for a few weeks, and I already don't think it's safer than Kaleno.
Well, I've never been as far as Silvercreek. But then when I got tangled up in the butterflies, I found myself traveling all over.
Tangled. You made it sound more like infiltrated.
I would say infiltrated, but the person who controls the butterflies, he is a very disturbed individual.
Oh,
Tangled me,
yeah.
and I had to do certain things in order to make sure that he didn't suspect. I had alternate motivations.
I don't think some leader who wants to burn down a town full of families would sort of have all their morals in order, so I can't say it's surprising information.
He starts talking, and as he starts replying to you, on a delay, your power activates. Like it connected suddenly. Like it was lagged. Like something was causing it to hang back, like you weren't there yet. Some kind of delayed temporal, spatial kind of connection of reaching into his past. And it hits you like a just brick. Your head kind of, you stiffen back. Your breath, as it overwhelms you for a second. You catch the vision of somebody standing in a large wooden room. And he is in front of a archaic looking computer that has a monitor of some kind, a glass monitor, cup next to him, coffee in it, you think, some kind of black liquid. He's wearing an unusual set of clothing you've never seen before, like a strip of cloth around his neck and a vest made of cloth that wraps around the front. He's got a jacket on that looks something like you've seen in some of the books or images that people used to wear at Earth back in the old. The place that's behind him is filled with things on shelves. And the way they are layered and structured, based off of the way they look, they must be books, but you've never seen so many. They're stacked one on the other. Behind him, you see what looks like a wooden doorway, very archaic looking, with brass handles. Actually, the whole room looks like it's made out of wood, lacquered wood. And you see he's clacking away on what looks like some kind of primitive looking plastic keyboard, something just not quite as advanced as what you see in Kaleno City. You see a couple of images popping up on the screen, but you can't read the words. But it's weird. It's like these two-dimensional images popping up on the screen as he's pulling left and right. And you see the device pop up. And it has a file number underneath it. And it lists a destination. It says Gravac. underneath it. Underneath Gravac, it says inaccessible. You see a grin on his face as he just says, not anymore, as he continues typing. And then you are back on the raft listening to him saying, that's when I realized it wasn't for me. The Fyric Pass, they make it sound like it's a good alternative to Kaleno City, but it's not. I don't like watching dinosaurs hurt each other for fun, and the fighting pits are just brutal.
Yeah, that never sat right with me. I mean, look at all these kiddos, and just look down at little Monch Crunch over there.
Mm-hmm. Listen, I understand you need to know more about me, and I'm willing to answer whatever I can. But by the time we get to the other side of the bank, I need you to make a decision. And that's not an ultimatum or a threat. But I cannot stick around if you're not going to give me the device, and I have no intention of fighting you for it. The butterflies will eventually find the two of you. There's nothing you can do about that. It's only a matter of time at this point. And when they do, they are going to kill both of you. Or they'll burn Silvercreek to the ground to get what it is you have in that bag. You give it to me, your troubles come to an end, and I get to get my reward. End of story.
From whom?
From whom? Oh, my reward?
Yeah.
That's not important. None of your enemies, however. I can tell you that much.
See, that's what's so weird to me. Because then who does that leave?
He shrugs and says, I wouldn't worry about it. Not your friends, not your enemies, people who don't need to know any more than you know. It's stolen. I'm trying to steal it again. No?
And go back to when exactly?
What do you mean?
You're not from Colino. Or the Chakra.
Why do you say that?
Look, just because I'm from around here doesn't mean I'm ignorant. Doesn't mean you can pull a fast one on me. I'm the one who pulls fast. You're not going to hustle a hustler.
All right, I'm not from Kaleno and I'm not from around here. That's true. It's complicated. I'm not a butterfly. I am not SATI, and I am not an enemy. I'm just a man looking to get his treasure and leave.
How are you leaving here?
Going back the way I came.
How are you leaving now?
That's really not important.
It's so important.
Why? Why is that important? It's
Because
important
you can
you're
do it at
close.
all.
Oh, it's because you want to know. You want to know all of these things. And I understand. It's a deep mystery. I get it. I understand. But your life is in danger and you don't have time. Give me the device. Let me go. Butterflies
No, I
leave you
have
alone.
time, and that's what bothers you. That I have time.
What bothers me is the butterflies are going to come and take that. And when they do, they're probably going to destroy it after they kill you and everyone you know. It's not worth it. Give it to me. Problems are solved. It's all over. They'll chase
If
after
you understand
me.
where this device came from, you understand I'm more than willing to cause myself near infinite problems. You talked about bargaining? I think a good start would be who you really are, when you're really from, and how you got here.
If you want to make a persuasion check, this is going to be very hard. This is going to be like those moments in BG3 where all of a sudden you say, sure, I'll roll for it. And it says 20 difficulty on the thing. And you're like, well, shit, can I get out of this? No, I cannot. All right. So the difficulty to convince him to open up about this is going to start at 6.
Okay.
So right now, you need an 18 or better to convince
right.
him.
Take a point. Take a point. Take a point.
I'd like to get the point.
Point.
Okay. The Ox Point. This clutch Ox Point is going to be coming from Breeks.
Thank you, Breeks.
Thank you, Breeks, for the Ox Point. Thank you, Ox Crew, for always supporting us. So that's going to drop 18 down to that's going to drop it down to a challenging roll of 5. So you need 15 or higher.
All right. Down to 4 with a spend, so that brings me down to 14 intellect.
Okay.
Would we consider this a positive social interaction?
No.
Fair enough.
He does not want to tell you what you're trying to squeeze out of him. All right.
Sure.
So then you need to roll a 12 or better. Is that right?
No, 9 or better because I still have persuasion.
Oh, okay. Wow. So 9 or better. Go ahead and make your roll.
Yep.
Is Vern a social asset?
Only on positive social interaction.
That's
also my second stack of social skill is positive interactions, because that way it covers both a soft persuasion and a nice smiley bluff. But this is more direct than Ozzie usually is, so I just have to roll for it. Oh god, I'm scared to look at my die.
One more question about Vern is, so Ozzie's just rolling against this guy's difficulty. This guy isn't also rolling
this particular difficulty.
Yeah.
Well,
not necessarily his difficulty, because stats, the way it works sometimes is it'll say things like he's a difficulty 5 so and so, unless he's doing this, in which case his defense is 12 or something ridiculous like that.
Because I'm the actor here, I don't think the dazzle.
Right. Okay, that's what I was gonna ask.
Yeah. Because that modifies all of his tasks.
All right.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, now I have to look at the die that I've already rolled, and I've had my leg in front of me, so I didn't have to look down all the time. An actual literal 9.
Okay.
Oh, it was a single digit, and my heart dropped, and it was the only single digit that wouldn't send me into complete despair. Oh my! Give me a moment. I just need to feel feelings. Okay, please proceed.
Okay.
Very clutch Ox Point. Thank you.
Yeah. He stares at you pretty discerningly for a moment, and you see a little bit of the mask fall away as he looks at you seriously. He says, "Before I answer that, how did you know I wasn't from Kaleno?"
I'm from Kaleno.
Oh, and we all just know each other? Is that it? No. How did you not know I was from Kaleno? How did you know that I wasn't?
Look, you're not from Kaleno. I don't know. Maybe you just breathe funny.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize this is where I am not allowed to be dodgy, but you are. You should have cleared that up for me when we first started talking. We could have saved so much time. That's what you meant.
Yeah.
You have time. I don't. I see. Okay. Now I understand the landscape. You see him rub his face as he looks at you, kind of smearing a little bit of that makeup that he applied, and he goes, "I'm not from around here, you know that. Let's just say I'm not from here. It would be far too difficult to explain. But suffice to say, I'm not from here, if you catch my meaning. Something tells me you do, because you've been driving at this ever since you made the realization I'm not from where I say I'm from. So, satisfied?"
I think we both know I'm not. If I already said you're not from around here, confirming it, it's validating, just emotionally.
You hear the telltale signs of the water becoming shallow as Tara is pulling you guys closer up onto the beach. And you see her push with a stick as the raft goes. He stands up and says, "This is it." And steps off the raft, splashing into the water ankle deep. And he steps up onto the beach, pebbles crushing underneath his boots as he turns and looks at the two of you and says, "It's not like me to resort to niceties, and so I won't. Besides, I've seen your friend throw that dagger around, and I don't want to be on the receiving end of it anyway. I'm asking you, please, just give me the device for your sake and mine, and this is over. Otherwise, we part ways here, and you run off into the night. To where? Grass trees? You know the butterflies are going to stalk the two of you down. You cannot outrun them. You think I'm the only butterfly with a raptor."
Do you have a way back?
To the butterflies? No, I can't go back. They have
Therefore-
ostions of their own, and they will know that I did what I did. So, there is only one way through this now. I go home empty-handed, leave you all here to die, or I go home with that and save all of you.
I wasn't asking if you have a way back to your butterflies. I was asking if you have a way back to your books.
His face drops. What did you say?
On the shelf. I've never seen that many in my life.
He glances at Tara. Tara looks confused and looks at you.
You're not from around here.
How do you know that? How do you know? Wait. You saw?
I'm not that good at telling when someone's not from Kalino. I cheated.
He takes a couple of steps towards you. He's looking at you like you are fascinating to him. His eyes are kind of like he looks completely bewildered. As he takes a step, Tara pulls a dagger and steps between the two of you. And he, no. I've never met one of your kind before. What if I told you that you could come with me?
I would infer that you did have a way back then.
I do. It's going to be costly without that, but I do. And something tells me you could come with me.
I have a friend.
I don't know, and I do mean this. I don't know that she can follow. Where I'm going, something tells me she wouldn't be able to follow.
Is it not technological then? What else is the difference between us? Okay, no, it's not allowed to be the fashion sense. That would be really rude. I have good fashion.
Well,
Whatever she says.
I tell you what, then. You see him glance around. He says, I've really pushed this as far as I can go. If she wants to come, then she's welcome to. But I can't promise that it will be safe. I don't know if it'll be safe for any of us, but If that's what it will take, I'm willing to make that agreement if you want to save Silvercreek and yourselves. What do you think?
Everyone I've ever known is staring down the barrel of a giant space rock, and I will do anything to save them.
You see a grin come across his face and says, "What if I told you I could promise you a way to make sure that rock never, ever touches this world?"
I'd say you earned yourself another walk and talk.
Are we agreed? And he glances over at Tara, and Tara is like, Ozzie, I don't know what the fuck is going on. What do you want to do? I'm going to let you make the call here. I was just sent to protect you. You know more about what the fuck that thing is and what this is all about than any of us. What do you want to do?
Whoever he is and whatever place he comes from is as much of a threat to us as any butterfly has ever been, unless we can learn about it.
All right.
And also, you stab people real good, so I feel real safe as long as I'm with you.
Fine. What is it? What's the first move? What do you want to do? First, we have to cross the river again. We're going the wrong way. My options were try to restrain you, and I wasn't about to try that. My options were to try to talk you out of it or run for my life. So we're going the opposite direction of where we need to go. Tara asks the obvious question. Okay, where do we need to go? SATI site 000E.
Well, guess there aren't many secrets left in Silvercreek.
Tara exhales and turns to look at you and just goes, motherfucker.
Don't tell Melina.
Cut to SATI site 000E. Everyone is pulling up on this bunker to see, perched on top of the lip about 80 feet above the rock face. Zach, you look straight up and you can see, looking straight down at you, at the top of a rope is Dalia, who is kind of looking out over the jungle to try to spot any sign of Bruno. But you all roll up on the SATI site. You see, it is indeed a great bunker. It looks like some kind of observatory that is long fallen into disrepair and water damage, you name it. Looks like it has just been completely exposed to the elements for ages. Everything you guys know about this place, this is the place Melina never wanted anyone to go. And it feels, especially to you, Zach, it feels a little weird to be here. It's like, this is like peeking at Christmas presents, kind of like, it feels weird. You probably shouldn't be doing this kind of like feeling as you all roll up on the site. And there she is, Dalia, just sitting topside, looking down at everybody. You all come striding up. Atticus, you just come striding in. Everybody arrives on scene. Everybody sees Dalia.
Are you okay?
Physically, yes. Mentally, not so much.
Elaborate. And maybe come down. Or
you come up.
should we come to you? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And Joe will start to get
You slide off of Atticus.
Same. Yeah. Heading up there.
Zach, you come trotting up.
I'll follow, but I think as soon as he gets within hearing distance of Dalia, he just looks and goes, "You can't keep doing this."
Don't start that with me again. You know I have to follow my instincts.
We're not supposed to be here.
Yeah, here as in this location, here as in this time, space. I don't know. You have to define that a little bit better for me.
You know exactly what I mean, but let's just get this over with. Whatever you want to do, just quickly do it, please, so we can return.
Right, yeah. So we're on a time clock, probably a little bit shorter than you think. Whatever, I don't know if you guys saw, but there was a T-Rex and some person on the T-Rex. Dalia looks at Clover. He looked like somebody that you may or may not know. As in, he had all the war makeup on, completely bald, long beard, pretty good, pretty. Anyways, very large T-Rex, very trained well. Name's Trisha T-Rex.
I imagine we're like climbing up the rope kind of during this
We'll
listening.
just go ahead and say everyone's making their way up the rope. Really, because there's not literally a time crunch right now, you're not gonna have to roll for the rope climb.
Okay. So yeah, I'm listening to these questions, and when I get to the top of the bunker, I'm like, yeah, I know that guy. And we saw Sweets showed, well, me. Yeah.
Yeah, what's his name?
Krishad.
Ah, great. I have a date with him later on, so if we can kind of hurry this
Yeah,
up.
but what?
I'm sorry, what?
A date. As in, he's gonna come back here with a bunch of his friends and try to kill us.
Oh, okay. Got it. That makes more sense.
Oh,
Yeah, we couldn't. I could see, but I couldn't hear the conversation. So, I guess we're here at this place. So maybe we should check it out very quickly and then get out of here.
might I
Yeah,
ask,
so
does
be
anyone
careful.
have...
It's deep. It's deep.
I look. Oh wow. Okay.
Does anyone have a clear objective as to what we're looking for or what we're doing here?
Well, number 2, there was a time anomaly.
You need a GM recap just to remind you.
Yes, please.
Yes.
So the device was able to plug into a mainframe. You guys had something that plugs into the mainframe, and the whole purpose of coming here was to try to activate the device, plug it into the mainframe, and get it to see if it's compatible with whatever SATI technology is here at the site.
The hologram device.
The hologram device has...
Not the time. Okay, just for because
Oh no, both of them. No. It was both of them.
Both of
Yeah.
them are
Both of
not
them. Okay,
from
cool.
this time.
Got it.
That's what
Okay,
my
cool.
notes
We
say.
call them both the device. I just wanted to be
Mhm.
sure. Okay. And currently we have the hologram and a fake, and Ozzie has the time device.
So there's basically
And
three three
And
devices.
Mm-hmm.
yes.
Yep. That's why
Joe kind of pulls herself up, and shockingly, despite the everything about Joe, she has no trouble climbing this. She pulls herself right up. She like literally that was her one I think I've said this before. Her one non-lab activity that she did was there was a climbing wall.
Oh,
There
excellent.
was a climbing wall, in one of the facilities. They had like a recreation thing, and it was the one thing that she got goaded into doing that she didn't absolutely hate as an outside of the lab activity. So she, despite the everything about her, she makes her way up and kind of has a thought in the back of her like, "Oh man, I missed the rock wall," and then makes her way over and goes, yeah, I think we just start looking. That's a big telescope."
Mm-hmm. Full of cobwebs. So thing number
Cool.
3. In the time anomaly, I saw 2 figures fighting over... What did that do? There's a device that they put in a bag.
It looked like they had gutted a computer mainframe and had pulled it like the hard drive and shoved it into a bag.
I relay that. Like it's a hard drive of some sort. Does it
I can work with
does
that.
it look like the thing that I pulled out of the swamp jam?
No.
Okay.
Nope, it does not.
I'm
So
looking for ways. All right. While she's talking, I'm like Joe's snooping for ways to tech to find tech.
Does anybody have any kind of light source or anything that could shine light?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I have a solar chainsaw.
That will definitely shine light. Yes.
Wait, inventory. Hold on.
So excited.
I'm so excited.
Oh yeah, Joe's the prepared one.
Joe's a
Yeah.
prepared one. From the dino bag. I'm assuming she would have grabbed her stuff before
Yeah.
we left.
Oh, yeah.
Kit and stuff. And I have a light, simple lantern.
Yes. That'll let you see in this pitch black darkness, as well as
One of the
solar
things
couple
she stuffed
also
in the
causing
bag.
you to get light.
Also, I have an adventures pack which includes 50 feet of rope, 3 days rations, 3 spike hammers,
I was like, they
We're
call
full.
it that here too.
and 3 torches.
Yay, we're
And then
ready.
y'all, if y'all want to light this place up and see what you're getting into, you have the option.
light it up.
Yeah,
I've got yes.
let's do it.
I will pass Clover, Joe a torch, and then I
Wait.
am going to
That was real.
yeah.
What?
I have it on this list.
They just. they
I've
were just
got
like
50 feet of rope, 3 days rations, 3 spike hammers, warm clothes, boots, and 3 torches.
Noir, if we ever play Forbidden Lands, you are going to be off to a good start.
Zach's a
So I-
survivalist,
All right.
but he's gonna
Joe's
make
good.
a
Joe has a lantern. Joe's good.
oh, well, he's still gonna make a show of not
Oh.
giving Dalia.
Mhm.
So Yen gets one. Over gets one.
Gonna get the stink eye from Dalia. When you light up this place, you see the drop from where Dalia is currently positioned and where you guys all climb up to. The drop looks like it's about 30 feet down. So it's definitely one you want to ease yourself down before you drop. It's a good thing nobody stepped over the side and tried to just jump down there. But you see a cavernous space where what kind of causes the pulse to race a little bit is you instantly spot ancient SATI tech lining the walls, covered in dust, covered in grime and vines. Instantly you see traces of scat all over the place. Some of it's like pretty old from the looks of it, but you also see like dust and wind has blown in through here. Nature's kind of claimed the interior of this spot. You see lots of evidence of nesting that's taking place in here, but no signs of any animals or creature inside. And it would take just a few minutes really just to use, because you've got 50 feet of rope. It's easy enough to like lower yourselves down.
Mhm.
One by one, as you were all making your way down into this facility, you see it indeed, it looks like a giant interior of some kind of observatory. The walls are lined with consoles that have long since, like, some of the buttons have been plucked out. You see exposed circuitry. A lot of this stuff is old SATI tech. Looks like it hasn't been used obviously in over 100 years. You do see signs. It looks like there is sort of a ramp going up on both sides of the room towards the back. The ramp kind of like a horseshoe shaped goes up and inclines and wraps around the back where the computers are all lining the walls. You see there's a couple of areas where it looks like some old metal chairs that were built into this place that may have been comfortable at one point. Looks like they've kind of fallen apart. But you do see also, it looks like a doorway, a very futuristic sort of metal looking doorway that slides open, perhaps on its own, judging by the computer panel that's next to it that has long since gone defunct. Some of these the doorway itself looks like one of the metal panels of the door is kind of slightly ajar, kind of looking like it has been out of use for ages. You are inside the tomb of your ancestors, the people who first came to Gravak 100 years ago during the first commute. This place was one of SATI's original first bunkers. And what immediately leaps to everyone's mind, even those of you who are not so scientifically inclined, is that the fact that this is an observation post of some kind leads you to believe that this actually might be designed in watching the sky for something specific. Like it served a purpose. The telescope is hard to see if it has a lens, but if it's old SATI tech, you would know this much, Joe. It wouldn't use any kind of glass lens or anything like that. It would use some kind of super high-tech imaging technology, meaning it's possible this thing still works if you can get power to it. But
Oh, yeah, she's immediately, like, snooping for anything that she might be able to put power into, something that might have any sort of use, like that she's just
Yeah.
with no regard for anything else that anybody's doing, she's just snooping for tech immediately.
Make me any kind of tech check, and you can do that too, Clover. The two of you kind of looking around. You are in a hall of tech. I'm gonna have both Zach and then I'm gonna have Dalia roll here in a second.
Does this are tech kits? Just having those help? It's asset on tech tasks.
Yeah, that would help here.
We can use it to like, yeah, okay.
For diagnostic, see how the power runs through this. Yes.
And yeah, so text and then sorry, brain.
What's our difficulty? No, you're good. We got lots of we haven't had to do any tech in a second.
So you need a 9.
What was it?
Difficulty's 3.
Difficulty starts at 3.
Starts at 3.
I will automatically succeed because I have specialized in computer system.
3, 2, 1, and then tech.
So,
asset.
So the tech kit lowers mine to 2, and then okay, I think I'll just roll on that.
All right, go ahead and roll your d20.
Is Sweets here? Can Sweets fly down? Because
Sweets can gain entry into this place. Both of them can. Kimmy and Sweets both.
Okay, then Sweets can help me on perception.
Okay.
Ooh.
This would not be this isn't a perception check. This is a tech check.
Never mind.
Using technology, yeah.
Okay.
Sweets can still help. No, I'm just kidding.
Sweets can be comforting.
Sweets has a degree, actually.
Right.
Yes, 14.
Sweets with the DeVry.
14. Okay.
I rolled anyways just in case of an effect, and I got an 18.
Okay.
I don't remember if that hits minor effect when it's not.
Minor effect is 19.
19. Okay, so nothing.
So
I'm good.
The two of you make a quick assessment and kind of confer with one another, just like quick whispers to each other as you're kind of taking an assessment of what's going on. This place, it's conceivable that if you could find a right power source, it's possible to think that you might actually be able to repair some of this tech. It would be quite the project. We're talking like a summer. If you made this your project, you could conceivably try to spin up power to this place. And maybe if that telescope is intact, you guys might be able to get this place running again. But the damage, as you guys quickly assess it, doesn't look too bad. At least out here. You're not sure what the rest of the facility looks like or where the power source is based from. That being done, I'm going to have Zach make a perception check. And Zach, this is absolutely a survival check to make sure there's no danger around.
Oh boy. All right, let me see. Let's start negotiating.
Use 3.
I got nothing. All right, let's do it.
Okay, difficulty is 3. Make your roll.
How's an 18 do you?
18 will do it. So Zach, you're just looking around. Anything in the dark here? There are very large, very unpleasant things to make their homes in places that are built into the earth like this. This has been exposed to a while. You want to make sure that anything you come across doesn't have more than 5 to 6 legs. You're just kind of like moving through here and taking stock of the walls and the webbing. But what's really causing you to sort of your instinct to fire is that those butterflies will be back. You guys are probably on a limited amount of time. So whatever they got to get done here, just make sure they don't dally. That's all. Not necessarily a rush, but get what they need done so they can get back. With that, before we jump back into the narrative, Dalia, I need you to make me a perception check. And your ability, your unseen ability, is going to come into play here. So go ahead and just roll a perception check. The difficulty is 3.
I got a 10.
Okay. So, Dalia, you can't quite put your finger on it, but this place feels like it is filled with this way you feel around time anomalies. This place feels different somehow. Time anomalies feel like you are near something that connects you to all moments in time. They kind of feel like no matter what happens, there is a thread of going forward and backward. and you're able to see different parts of that thread all at once. But here, for some reason, you feel sort of this disquieting feeling of being detached. Like you've stepped into a place that doesn't necessarily follow the rules. Can't quite explain the feeling. Your sensory abilities are telling you something is very off here. Something happened here. Something was happening here. You've heard of SATI sites, but this one seems to have had some kind of contact with, maybe it's temporal energy, you're not sure, but something specifically happened here.
Something feels off.
In the regular way or in the Dalia way? Is it as Joe's like peeling back panels?
In the Dalia way, something happened.
It's almost as if everybody
Something
in the
really
town
bad
told you we
happened.
shouldn't be here.
Okay, yes, that's true. But we are here.
Or we should be here and investigate what happened so that we can warn others.
Clover, how many T-Rexes do your butterfly friends have access to?
Clover's very distracted by all the tech.
Clover's like, sorry, what?
She's
literally
like,
not paying
couple,
attention to any of you.
Yeah, Clover doesn't respond. Clover is just
No.
head inside of a computer.
Also, Clover's looking for the interface that connects to the device.
With those rolls, I'll go ahead and tell you, do not find them here inside
Okay.
of this console.
All right.
There's more. Yeah, there's more. How? Sorry, give me like a. How big is this space? Like, does it feel like there's more levels down, or like
There's an
is there
opening
any?
that leads into a facility. That is
what-
a
okay.
doorway that I described earlier that has like the
Yes,
panels
okay.
kind of off to the side. And then
Got
there's
it.
a hallway that wraps around. You're in this great big, imagine
in-
inside of an
got it.
observatory. So this huge
Yeah.
dome-like structure.
So
with
there's
your consoles.
more. Like we have
yes.
the rest of the facility.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
cool. I was
Yeah.
trying
Guys
just
are in
like to
room
give
one
myself.
at this
We're
dungeon.
in room 1. Got it. Cool.
Yeah.
Sweet. Yeah, I think these two are just like if one of them is struggling to pull something open, the other one will be
Mhm.
like, "Oop, I've got it!" Like they're swapping tools.
Mhm. This is like Disneyland.
This is so annoying to the people who don't want to be here. Saying words that mean nothing to anybody.
Mhm. Oh, I also, sorry, no more at the end of the session. I had a quick question. The dome, it sounds like the dome was broken open, and so this has been exposed to the elements.
Yeah.
So even that said, we could still like repair and restore this over time.
Yeah, probably. SATI tech? Yes.
That's
It's-
awesome. Okay.
So keep in mind, like on technology levels of 1 through 10, 0 being you just found out how to paint a line on the side of a cave, and 10 being you just found out how to use the nuclear fusion inside of a star to recreate your own artificial black hole to travel to another galaxy. The technology levels that your ancestors from is probably somewhere around 9.
Wow.
So the people that created time travel, the first commuters, the future they came from was capable of creating the time travel possible. So the tech that they brought back with them is some of the most outrageously fantastical science, advanced science technology that the imagination can conceive of. You would have heard stories of colonies that they had established on distant worlds outside of Earth, outside of their solar system. Your ancestors were conquering everything, scientifically speaking.
Hmm.
So as you look around at this tech, it once again kind of drives home why the butterflies want it all destroyed.
Hmm.
Because this tech has endured just fine. It just needs to be repaired.
With all those thoughts, I also I'll say this now for next session. I'm going to have an eye out for any type of security system.
Okay.
See if this place had any protection at all built into it.
All right. So as you start sniffing around for that, both of you get to realize that this control panel that y'all are sniffing through, none of this is going to be security. All of it is to do with this telescope. It
Okay.
looks like everything here is controlling this device particularly. While you're doing that, you're hearing Zach behind you asking for intel on the possible incoming enemy that is going to corner you all and kill all of you.
I'm sorry. If you want to ask it again, Clover will probably hear you the second time.
Does no one else realize the third? How many T-Rexes do the butterflies have access, if I might ask?
Oh, you're talking to me?
Yes.
How many T-Rexes?
Eliza,
Yeah.
there is they call themselves the Pack. There are 4 of them.
They call themselves the Pack. There are 4 of them.
They're the elite hunting unit. That they're kind of like the tank strike team of. They have stormed into places like Silvercreek and destroyed everything in their path, and no one could. I mean, it's 4 level 7 T-Rexes being ridden by level 5 butterflies.
Holy crap.
So they just kind of tank their way into anything and just level it.
Yeah, if they're coming back, if he's coming back to bring his little T-Rex buddies, then yeah, this place will be destroyed. We can't let that happen.
Joe pops her head up from inside of a like some sort of mechanical piece and goes, "Hold on a second. If the butterflies knew about this location, why is it still here?"
Yeah. Or did they
Why
just
is it
find out?
Protecting it.
Huh? They're protecting it? Wait, what did you say,
Maybe?
Dalia?
I said maybe they're protecting it.
That's like antithetical to everything they stand for.
If
I mean, why else would somebody who is so against technology keep it around?
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't make sense.
I just need clarification. When you spoke to him, he said that he is coming back. And Clover, if he is coming back,
Yeah, we have a date.
You've got to stop calling it that.
Oh, she does that.
Oh, I'm aware.
I told him I'd go hunting with him.
She probably also offered an actual date too, by the way. She keeps talking about how built he. Anyway, sorry, not the question.
Why does
You are-
everyone think I'm lying all the time?
Dalia, exasperated, you turn to everybody and say this. Why does everyone think I'm lying all the time? And it catches in the corner of your eye as you're saying it. The rest of you see Dalia stop in mid-sentence as her eyes widen and she starts staring. Not sure what she is seeing. Dalia, what you are seeing standing in the doorway is you. Your arms are folded and you're looking at you.
Awkward.
The moment you make eye contact with her, she turns and looks away and walks down the corridor and vanishes from sight.
Hey! I know you guys are going to hate me for this, but I'm going to walk and follow.
Did we see? Did it happen slow enough for us to see? No.
None of y'all saw what she saw. You just
Okay.
see Dalia react, go, hey! And then Dalia strides quickly through the door, right out of the room and into the hall.
She also does that, and Joe's gonna follow.
Someone else here? And yeah, follow as well.
At this point, Zach is he takes out the chainsaw, takes out the shield, puts his arrows down, and grabs the bow, and he's just like organizing his weapons, and the whole time he's just going, 4 T-Rexes. 4 of them. And that's where his mind is.
Like, awesome, great, love this for me.
Clover will run back actually and say, "Oh, wait, sorry. We were having a conversation, Zach. Booby traps.
I'm used to. Wait, they booby trap?
No, what if we booby trap the outside of this place so that the T-Rexes can't get in? I mean, the people might, but the T-Rexes, they're not that smart.
The amount of time that I would need to craft a booby trap that could even slow down one very young T-Rex is
Okay.
time that we do not have.
Wait. You said I said we. Us. Together. You're not the only one doing this, you know.
I appreciate that, Clover. I don't know what your mission here is. I don't know what Dalia's mission here is. I know what my mission here is, and that's all of you making it back to Silvercreek. It is just me.
Okay, that's weird thing to say after I just said I can help.
Yes,
I can do really cool tech things.
I am aware. And you will be the one to protect them as you make your way back to Silvercreek. And I'll be the one here stopping the progress of 4 T-Rexes.
Okay. At that, again, she's not good at social. Clover is going to turn and start looking around for things to build some type of energy-based booby trap around this place.
Point out that this conversation, as it's unfolding and as you're starting to do that, 2 of your party members have run down the corridor and vanished.
Yeah.
Okay. So as you begin to look around, the 2 of you get swallowed up into this corridor with light kind of bouncing around as you rush after Dalia. That is where we are going to bring an end to this chapter of Legacy of Silvercreek.
It's deja vu again.
Dang, it's like we already vu.
Wow.
But now he
Okay,
added some
Dalia.
Deja.
I'm in Deja.
Good game, y'all. My goodness.
Gosh.
So
Here.
we will be back next Monday. Also, stay tuned. Streampunks will have some information coming down the pipe by next Monday, but also on our coffee account and of course on our Discord and our Patreon. Thank you so much to all of our supporters as always. Thank you as always for supporting the Streampunks and making our storytelling possible. Since the days of GNS, we have been telling stories together, and it's happening because you guys support us. So thank you so much as we continue to tell our tales. Catch us back here next week at 6 p.m. and we'll have an update as to what's going on with the Halloween game at Tuesday at the end of the month. And until then, my friends, I will see you again 66 million years from now.